it would be easier for him to have reliable internet. He's apparently restarting his router. The old turn it off, turn it back on again, unplug it, plug it back in. We'll see if it works out.
Maybe you'll have to unscrew the coax cable, put that back in as well. Sometimes that works.
Does it? Never gone that far. Never tried that one.
I've had the internet people tell me everything in the book, and what needed to happen was them to restart the internet.
Classic. That's right. You had some fickle internet for a long time. Has that all been sorted out? Are you living a better life now?
Every once in a while, it still messes up on me, but it seems to be enjoying itself for now.
You got to get on that fiber life. That's just a quality of life improvement. I know right now, Brazil, honestly, even with fiber, they're probably still dealing with this kind of ping issue relating to a server back in the U.S., but they're wishing they had a little bit better of a internet situation, as the case may be. But at this point, I think it's just geography.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to really close the gap there aside from picking up the players and moving them closer to the server.
There is not. Unfortunately, playing from Brazil right now. Not a situation that can really be resolved. Not sure what the plan is currently for the team and for the players. But obviously not an ideal situation for them. We're just kind of getting into the point where the league and the season has been delayed to such a degree that there are so many games condensed into these last chunks of the season, and there's a hard time limit on when these things need to be resolved by, because of course the finals are already set, that games kind of have to happen one way or another. Since we do have this nice lull, though, I think we need to acknowledge what's going on with Frosty K's picture. He's got a dog with hat meme. And is that Pokimane on his dog with hat?
I am Twitch illiterate, so your guess is probably better than mine.
What Twitch illiterate? Do you mean as in you don't know who that is?
Yeah.
All right, I suppose that's true. I feel like just following esports Twitter, you become aware of these people. We can also take a moment. Shank, I'm enjoying this Photoshop.
Yeah, the Shank's is good. I like Sterling's too.
Sterling's is elite. That's next tier. It's the dramatic groundhog with a mustache and a top hat and curses photoshopped onto it. I mean, really, this is just amazing.
It needs a monocle.
It does. A monocle would enhance the situation. I'm with you on that one. But I'm not sure if it needs a monocle. It's kind of interesting. All right, we're gonna get serious for a hot second here. I know I've derailed this conversation dramatically on my own. Team One's giving us nothing to work with on their pictures. They're just all the logo. How boring and professional. Nerds. But it is unfortunate for Team One that they're going to be playing at least some of their games from Brazil at this point. This is a team that's sort of perennially floated. They got to MDL with a lot of promise. Players were very excited for them. There was a lot of hype built around that team, and then they never really delivered on that hype. They're always they're good, never great in the league, right? They're always sitting somewhere around that 7 to 8 seed, maybe up into the 5-6 seed come playoffs, if they do make playoffs. And it's never really worked out for them in the long run in terms of that playoff run. They've never been able to make it to the Global Challenge. They've really sort of felt like a team where promise is unrealized. And then, meanwhile, you've had other teams come in from Brazil and really show up in a big way. Of course, you've had Furia most recently, who came in and absolutely destroyed the league. It almost felt like Furia was what Team One was supposed to have been in a lot of ways when they were hyped out coming out of Advanced, and then just never really built on that. And so it was feeling like this might have been a season where we could see something from Team One, but of course, if they're going to have to play with this kind of ping impairment, it's such a challenge. It's such a struggle. The last team I remember playing the Mountain Dew League with this kind of ping impairment was Nautem Como, back in the days when that experiment was trying to happen, and they wound up dropping out of the league after just 6 games, because at a certain point, teams realized that they could just abuse the ping by sprinting at them with MAC 10s, and they wound up losing a game to the wonderfully named HWML, which you might remember what that stands for.
Rest in peace.
I don't think I'm supposed to say that on stream anymore. In a match that wound up having its match page go to the front of Reddit just because of how absurd their opponent's name was. And once that code was cracked and every team realized that just sprinting at them with the MAC 10s was the solution, it really became difficult for them to play any reasonable sort of CS. So, worried that might happen for Team 1 again.
Hopefully Team 1 does not face the same fate as their Brazilian counterparts, because they do have a lot of potential. I mean, Barton, I think, is one of my favorite players up and coming in the scene. He's been on the rise now, been on Team 1 for a couple seasons, and put in a lot of very impressive numbers over the course of his couple seasons with them. And I think he's a guy who really can't go underestimated and might be someone to look at for some of the more struggling Brazilian teams in the worldwide stage. INTZ wouldn't necessarily call them struggling right now. They're on the up and up, just qualifying for Pro League. But I think maybe MIBR might do for a bit of an injection, as they still haven't really found their stride since they've reorganized.
Seems like that XINTZ roster is presumably going by boom now, based on the Pro League announcement that just came out. Although I don't think they've actually made their own advance announcement, so not quite sure what the hang up or the details on that are, whether there's negotiations still ongoing. I think, folks, since this DC has now taken a little bit longer than I necessarily anticipated, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here, cut to some music, and based on my experience producing and casting anything, when you cut to music, that's usually when the tech issue gets sorted out. So we will hopefully be back in just a moment here, folks. Stick with us. You're watching the ESEA Mountain Dew League. We'll be back in a flash.
Pipes that never let you double cross them. Moving through the city like it's Gotham. They told me get one, so I got one. Stop saying you're a boss when you not one. You ain't sacrificed, nah, you ain't lost none. All over the gram like you got a bag. You ain't big dog, we ain't hear none of that. I'm in the gym looking like a running back. How you know the flow, got them coming back. Who I was in the past, I'm unattached. Only focus in this moment is bringing the summer back. Oh, respect my grind, elevate souls and I spread good vibes. Young divine, you know I gotta shine. Raise your hands for a good time. Aight.
Live until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you wanted, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move. 3, 2, bringing summer to you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know, like I know, we'll take it round and round. Yo, hold up, let me switch my flow up. Back in high school, they were telling me I'll blow up. Doing talent shows and man, everyone will show up. Got in an accident and still made it for them to go nuts. You know what? I'm so what? I'm so That means I can't describe the way I vibe, the way I slide in with the rhymes that make the dimes all close their eyes and fantasize. Young divine calling their phone number. No, you know I love you. And you know me, I can't sleep without blazing beats on stages for their ones gracefully. And I got a smile that they hate to see. Young black successful, though life gets stressful. Though life gets stressful, go and vibe out with whoever you next to.
Live until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you wanted, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
bringing summer to you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know, like I know, we'll take it round and round again.
Said I'd find a way to turn my heart into something gold. Knew I sold my soul to the devil long ago. I rode it all along on your wave right before it broke. Time was thrown down the well, so I let you go.
Hello, everybody. We're back, and Droid's back. Most importantly, looks like we can get this game on. We can get the show on the road. I'm still Darth Mike, still joined by Boggs in his first ever MDL channel cast for the online broadcast. He did cast with us at Global Challenge, so he has technically casted the Mountain Dew League before, but we're welcoming him to the regular season shows for the first time. Team 1 have taken some control in towards Connector. They're just going to plant a man here and then operate off of it, presumably. But with 4 players in towards mid, they might yet just act off of this instead of going to fall back towards that ramp take that we see teams so traditionally hit. There is heavy presence here on the A-bomb site, so that if they do ultimately hit here, they might find heavy resistance. But working 2 players up catwalk, they might have other things in mind.
I definitely have to think that they do have other things in mind. They put a con smoke down on top con to enable a cross. Only problem is the bomb's heading towards apps, and Jonah P's pushed his way up. He's scoped in. The spot from Cat is going to be in Sterling's hands to take him down. Takes down TRK, looking for more. It's going to be Jonah P. Good for another. Shank holds out on the lurk. And now this is where things get really messy for Team 1. PRT's been tagged low. Jonah P knows where Maluki is, and he's going to blind him, push on through the smoke with the USP in hand, take him down, and Shank will also get a brace of his own right. Station 7 with a relatively clean round. Read Team 1 extremely well, and take that gun round, first gun round of the game so far, and win it pretty easily.
What a ridiculous play from Jonah P up in apartments. He flashes his way through smoke, goes out with a USP, fights Maluk full blind. He knows the other player is an AWP and is probably not going to have an advantage with a flashbang coming through up close like that, and just abuses him. That's rough. So that's unfortunate for Team 1 for sure, but what a way to get a 3rd round in a row on for Station 7. And again, these are just the challenges Team 1 have to overcome. Even beyond the flashbang, even beyond the pistol coming through smoke, you just got a player charging you through smoke with 150 ping. It's not ideal by any measure. It's just going to take you longer to register that, and these are really the challenges of their current situation. So Station 7 should have a great possibility here. The one thing to keep in mind with Sterling info jumping like this is the one spot where the ridiculous ping might actually work in Team 1's favor. Where when they decide to hit, there's a possibility, oh my goodness, that nade. They're in the kitchen, but they just got served all the spice in the world. Oh, that damage coming through. TRK and Pesa just limping at this point. Barton not looking a whole lot better. As I'm saying, they've got a possibility that they could actually get through this before he spots them. But he does have the information. They're coming in. It's going to be a massacre as they've just got the crossfire set up, and this should be no problem whatsoever. Maluk, the last survivor, might actually sneak out a bomb plant purely because of the over-rotation of Station 7, but Jonah P gets back just in time. If he had planted on the other side of the default box, probably gets that plant off. But it's a matter of seconds, inches, and milliseconds, and ultimately they won't get that extra bit of money.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there. Could have gotten a bomb plant, but of course he doesn't know what we know. Doesn't have the minimap or the X-ray. Probably wanted to stay safe from CT was the main point of that plant. Unfortunate for Maluki, just got caught out from jungle. Now it seems to be a bit more of an A default from Team 1. Nobody positioned towards mid or B. Everyone's set up for that classic smokes A execute that we all know and love. The smokes will start flooding in now. Good counter utility from Jonah P on the op from CT. Gets a bit of nade damage on as well, but no real damage done just yet. Barton taking a little bit more as the push will come in. The flashbang through. Barton, though, TRK get 3 out total. Maluki pops out a ram, knocks Jonah P down to the ground, leaving just Shank in a 1v5, and he is not long for this world as PRT catches him in the drop, and Team 1 strike back with a flawless victory and a flawless A-take.
There you go. Frankly impressed. I thought once again, Station 7 were kind of just abuse the fact that they've got that ridiculous ping difference to bully their way through a smoke and get away with it. But Barton shut them right down, making use of that Krieg to just cut down multiple players to make this work out very nicely indeed. They've got very much a spread set up for Team 1. They're not going to work on mass. They're going to kind of hang back, and that's actually a kill for PRT. Is just spamming through the smoke does catch off Sterling. He was standing out in the open hoping that that smoke would protect him. But it just wasn't quite enough. Jonah P, though, as the Flash Bloom lines up the shot and catches Maluk in a peek, so the kill is brought back. The Opera is laid low, and a critical kill is found for Jonah P to shut down any sort of mid-control for Team 1.
That is a massive kill for Jonah P. Full blind, great prediction, great timing. That's going to force Team 1 into another A execute. They found success here before. They're looking to find it again. They have some control. Player out sandwich, a couple more swarming to side, but the smokes have run thin. I don't actually think there is any more left in the belt of the Team 1 players. They're going to have to fight this, especially given their connector smoke missing. There's 2 players CT, 1 back, Rattle waiting for the cross. Another one on Cat's going to be Droid, hoping to catch somebody in the plant. PRT, though, will go for the stick and get the bomb down. Nobody peeking from Station 7. They have 1 flashbang on Shank. Everybody else, they're limited to Molotovs and an HE. Still, the retake potential is on, but TRK will hold his angle, hold his ground, and drop Jonah. With Shank next in line, peeking out another shot from TRK. The ping not bothering him one bit, as he sees just a pixel of an arm and lands another shot.
This should be a save at this point, and here we're going to see it. Droid's withdrawing. He's going to get the Krieg at the least. Nice little party favor to leave with. Frosty K is just going to try and play tucked and hope nobody comes his way, and it seems like he's going to get his wish. Oh, Droid, you better resist this siren song. The temptation to go for one last pink could be so costly. The money's actually quite good for Team 1 now. They've gotten through with the heavy bodies up in 2 rounds in a row. So they're going to be looking just A-okay. And they're somehow maintaining this tied scoreline despite the disadvantages they're playing with in terms of situation. They're doing a pretty good job of compensating for it. Now, it is definitely going to be more of a challenge on the CT side where they have to hold more angles. You can kind of make do on T side a little bit more just in terms of finding the timing to get out, but it's going to be challenging. PRT is actually past this Molotov, so he's in a bit of an awkward spot. He's got utility, though, and tucked around the corner. He's going to be able to work his way forward, using the flashbangs to abuse the entry, trying to find a path onto site, and finding 1 kill indeed. He has now gotten himself started and his team on into this site. It's going to be left to Sterling to do damage, but at range with that MP9, it's just not favorable. Shank's stuck between a wall of smokes. Bomb's going to be planted, while Jonah P will get one. It is quickly traded. Shank making a very bold play. Will find the first, looking for the second. He has it as well. And the third! The transfer from Shank. Location on the last player, and just Maluk to hold on. A 1v2. The pistol trying to tap away. The Molly's going to tick him, and they'll get ready on the defuse as nades continue to sail through to just weaken his health. He's down to 20. He can't face. He's dropped by the M4, and the round will be stolen away by a fantastic play from Shank.
Larceny indeed from Shank as he shuts the B takedown, goes aggressive, but it pays off in spades. That third kill was absolutely critical, not to mention the information on Malukian Apartments. That's actually going to cause a timeout to come through here, as I think Team 1 going to slow things down, talk things over. Actually, never mind. It's Station 7 again, and Droid, once again, has left us off the back of a round win for his team.
Oh, no. Oh, he's right back.
Oh, he's back.
Okay. Disaster averted there, folks. I got very scared. Indeed. Droid drop. You just never know. He's going to be back, though, right away. Not a problem. He's buying up as well, so this unpawn should come in just a moment. And indeed it does, right as we say that. Going to be plenty of money for the Brazilians to get back into it, but that was not a great place to take the stumbling block. They had a chance to finally grab momentum, and this is going to be the kind of game where momentum is going to be very hard to come by for them. We'll see what they can do right now. Here they go. A little bit more to operate off of. They're going to contest for mid-control once again, dumping a bunch of utility to try and get forward, to try and bully up Jonah P, just take this ground from him. And they're actually charging straight through the flashes. This is so bold from Pesa. He'll get himself a frag. So aggressive, just charging up through mid. And Jonah P was unable to keep his teammates safe. So this massacre has worked out quite well, and well, he will get traded. I'd say that's decent value on his life, just based on how much positioning he gained and how much he pushed these players back. Still, Jonah P still in the scene, and one after another, he's dropping bodies. Third frag notched onto the butt of his up. And it's going to be a Maluk to try and get very bold, completes the hop into window, and will at least keep the numbers somewhat closer to even for his team. And now Barton coming out from Palace. They kind of lost track of him, but it doesn't matter. The remaining 2 players, Sterling and Frosty K, answer back rapidly, find the kills, and maintain this lead.
They actually start to grow their lead for the first time really in this game. Station 7 starting to establish themselves as a leader in the pack and not just vying for rounds with Team 1, battling back and forth round after round. Station 7 with a chance to actually gain some ground and establish stability, something that they've failed to do so far. But once again, aggression as Maluki's going to push up Catwalk with a scout. Jonah, though, he's sitting back to ticket booth, so mid-control, going to be a bit of a fight for Station 7. They have to use their M4s to actually take it, as the Krieg on the CT side is positioned down towards B. Pesolano going through the smoke, and he will get taken down by Shank. There was still one more to trade in Frosty K, who actually took the aggro away. It's an opening pick for Station 7. The bomb still back C as the rest of Team 1 deciding to really work their way up Catwalk. This could come back to bite them. They kind of want to get that trade, but the utility running so low on Team 1, they will eventually have to make a move. And the sooner it comes, the more utility they have to actually do something. But instead, it's going to be Frosty K to push and Droid to boost on bricks. 2 players down. And now it's a 5v2 for Station 7. The bomb finally recovered for Team 1, but they're walking right into Jonah's op.
He's been so good with it as well. He's been punishing. He's going to get another opportunity. He's going for the info hop. Now he's got the information he was looking for. He'll actually get tagged with that scout, although it's just a quick little tag. He nearly gets the shot in return. His teammates are now going to be coming back on force. They've got massive problems, and it's all going to be on to Barton to do this. He's got a 1v5 situation, and Frosty Cage is coming flying around the default box. Will get the kill on towards him with not a second care in the world. Station 7, I think, realizing at this point, especially when they've got the number situation, that they can really bully on these swings and take advantage of the ping to just keep the pressure up on Team 1. It's a tough situation to play with, and Team 1, they've done a decent job through the beginning, but it's just so hard to find any consistent success when you're playing this much of a ping disadvantage.
Yeah, the other team knows it too. And Station 7 have been trying to exploit it, although they've started to play a more stock Counter-Strike than they were earlier on, and it's found more success for them. But Team 1 actually have 2 players in ladder room. One boosted up is going to be PRT to trade out Frosty K, but already up in jungle is Maluki. And now he's being joined by Pesadello, pushing in towards CT, forcing the CTs away. And actually, Team 1 might get a bomb plant out of this round. They already have a Krieg in hand, and Pesadello has armor. There's chance for more than just the bomb plant. A dink now follows up as Shank finally gets the kill onto Maluki. Bomb yet to go down, but Jonah is extremely low. But now Sterling will try and bring it back, but Droid is now taken down in return. Man advantage, Station 7. The retake will commence after the bomb plant, but the bomb plant, a very large victory for Team 1 as they came in with just Deagles, a bit of utility, and 1 vest.
Honestly, thought they had missed their window for this plant, but they will at least get something and a little bit more. It's all going to be left to Pesa. He's got the Krieg in hand, 40 health, and they're going to cover him off with the smoke as well, so he's going to have to force the issue, trying to get the tap, but Sterling realizes the situation, the spam comes back, so defuse in, round 1, half 1 at the very least for Station 7 at this point. A bomb plant will guarantee a strong buy here. They can get ops, they can get weapons, they can get Molotovs, they can get whatever they could possibly desire. The problem is, how effective can they be with them? The Kriegs, it's a little bit challenging when you can't necessarily trust that first face. You can't trust what your eyes are telling you. And it's just really been reflecting the way Team 1 is playing. There's a lot of issues. That round, honestly, I think the primary issue just came. They very decisively took site and actually had an advantage in doing it. They hesitated a bit too long once they did. And once you do that, you give the CTs a possibility to sort of pick players off on the periphery. If you very immediately got that plant out, maybe they have a better chance to get into post-plant scenarios and to do a bit more damage. Still obviously going to be tough, and they'll likely lose the round, but as it was, they got a bomb plant. They got something. Now it's going to be another attempt at a bomb plant, but a body drop. Jonah P working with a gap in the smoke and abusing it to find a kill. They will get the bomb down, and players withdraw now towards ramp, but Jonah P still has a chance to do damage, and he'll do exactly that. Winning off the op duel. Finally, they'll sail utility in to try and lock him out, but he's already done the damage. It's already too late. Now his teammates can come in from stairs. They can bully their way up. They can take this even fight with a 3 coming from stairs, and now reinforcements as the molly fades out towards Ticket. And this can just get really punishing. It's a hail of flashes on the site itself. It's all up to Pesa, who swings. Finds 1, finds 2. He's got his teammate alive. PRT now lone man surviving, but they've defused right under his nose. And to add insult to injury, vinegar in the wound, Jonah P will hit the last. Gets himself a 4K and takes full control of this round.
Jonah's having himself a fantastic game. 15-7. multiple multi-kill rounds early on. We're just about the halfway point of this map, round number 14 of 15 in the first half, and we've seen Jonah just go for some extremely aggressive peaks and winning his duels like it's second nature. He's definitely having a fun game. But then again, some of these peaks he's taking too, would he actually do that against players with lower ping? That is a big question. One thing that comes to mind is that peak onto the ramp box. I don't know if he necessarily would have won that if Maluki had a decent amount of ping. Either way, though, Jonah P taking full advantage of the situation and making Team 1 really pay for any sort of aggression they want to do, or even if they just want to hold an angle. Jonah's there, and he is willing to take the peek and take him out.
It's sort of the quintessential Jonah P playstyle, right? That hyper-aggressive op, just really getting up in their face, taking really bold peeks. Oh, I thought that was Jonah P's no-scope. It was actually just the Molotov burning him. Thought that would have been quite insane. Still, Frosty K will lose his life. Maluk getting a little bit more willing to take some of these bold angles, realizing that the best answer might be to fight fire with fire. They've had some success cracking the nut that is this A bomb site a few rounds in a row now, but they're hesitating once more to actually get this bomb planted, and as they do, the smokes will fade. Jonah P will claim another life. TRK getting bold, giving him opportunities. You can't do that with Jonah P. Once he gets going, he's just so deadly, and this will give a chance for Shank to swing. He gets one, he gets two. Yes, they planted the bomb, but that's just not enough. Now all onto Maluk. He's got players all around him. He's trying to keep himself alive, trying to keep himself out of their scopes, and while he will find one, can he get more? The answer is a firm no. Defuse comes in. It's double digits for Station 7 as they're continuing to just bully their competition en route to a very dominant half.
Dominant half indeed. A chance for an 11-4 half on CT Mirage, which is something that you don't see in today's day and age. With everything being a lot more T-sided nowadays, it's not uncommon to see a 9-6 scoreline in favor of the offensive side on Mirage. And even then, 8-7 is extremely common. Now we're seeing a 10-5 at best for Team 1, going on to a side which doesn't favor their high ping in any regard. And you got to wonder, they need this fifth round to have a bit of a win condition here. They have 4 Kriegs and an AK. The AK already eliminated as Frosty K capitalizes on a gap in the smoke. Spraying down Barton, does damage onto TRK as well, taking him down to half HP. Droid boosted up, though, will make it an even 4v4. But still, the advantage does sit with Station 7. They have more utility, vastly more utility, but that flash is perfect as Frosty K catches TRK full blind.
As we lock on to a corpse. Don't worry about that, folks. It's fine. It's fine. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Still even numbers as PRT will bring back one of those frags. And they got a little bit more to work with here. They're going to try and get back around. Bomb plant coming in. It's going to be planted right under their gnomes. And PRT keeping his teammates alive, keeping that bomb safe. Gives them a great opportunity now. Sterling's going to really try and make a solo play. Jonah P hasn't rotated yet, and that means that he's left his teammate all on his lonesome. So for this last round, it just might be Team 1's, and indeed it is. One after another, they take on all comers. They succeed, they survive, and they make it through to the second half with at least 5 rounds intact.
They do get that 5th round thanks to a beautiful 4K from PRT, putting the team on his back. It's not the first time he's done some massive damage to get his team around. The 3K he had on B comes to mind where he got in front of that Molotov. Seems like many rounds ago now. But he'll have to do more of the same on the CT side. Pistol round will be critical for Team 1. Station 7 going for quite a bit of utility. P250 on Jonah P as well. He could drop that over to Droid or Shank and make it a raid boss. Or just hold on to it. Sterling as well picks up the vest in the end. But 3 flashbangs, 2 smokes, and Station 7 have enough for a full-on execute with the smoke stairs, jungle CT. One of those missing, of course, but flashbangs can definitely nullify those angles, and Jonah is actually going to go aggressive here. Does a half bit of damage to Maluki. Will have to fall away now. TRK up close and personal, though, can trade him out, and does indeed land the headshot. Now Station 7 extremely spread out with 2 players going out to B. There's still going to be the hold on A and Station 7. They might have played themselves too much here. Droid's not going to clear the palace angle. Will at the second and actually get that kill after he gets a ding from a USP. Bomb will go down for now. Advantage to Station 7. But Team 1 are hot on the hunt. They're here quickly. They have a defuse kit. And Droid is low and now eliminated from the field of play.
That hurts. That hurts. But they still got a chance through here. This bomb down does give them such an advantage. The kit is available for Maluk. They're going to be trying to do a little something with it. But as he taps, that's going to trigger the swing from Sterling, who just gets a quick tag and damage done. That just might be enough. Sterling now has a really strong position to play from. TRK recognizes that he has to force the fight one way or another. It's all coming down to this, and Sterling will survive. A big two-piece at the end to keep his team into the pistol round, taking the round in hand, taking the momentum as well. It's 11 rounds for Station 7, and now everything in their favor. And you can see the panic setting in for Team 1. Maluk has already bought into this scout. It's going to be a really tough weapon to use with the pings that he's rocking. They're going to be Baraka Deagles. They're going to be rocking MP9s. I think they feel like at this point they really need something to break their way. Otherwise, it might just be all hope is lost.
This is kind of the last-ditch force for Team 1. They lose this round, it'll be a 13-5 lead for Station 7. Another one on the board, 14, maybe 15 off of the back of that ensuing eco. Pesadelo has other ideas. Flashbang from Maluki helps out as Shank goes down. And here's a chance. The Brazilian Deagle's extremely good. And they're hunting for more kills, but Jonah P, not on his op, but rather on a Galil, will spray down PRT. Make it an even 4v4. As Station 7 content to just work around the map and get some picks, Droid will double down on Khan. Doesn't take a point of damage in return. That's 2 free kills for him. Frosty K, in the meantime, pops up ramp, eliminates TRK, and Barton last alive. I don't think there's much you can do here, Mike.
There's not indeed. Just a Deagle in hand. He's got a lot to try, but at this point, it's really best case scenario. He takes a kill, maybe sneaks away a weapon, but at that point, it'd just be a Galil or an MP9. I don't even know that that's necessarily worth it. So the bomb will be planted. The most valuable thing he can probably do is save his armor, save his Deagle, get a cheeky little graffiti in there, just to tempt us, just to bait us a little bit, just to keep things spicy, if you will. We'll see what he can find. Barton, there we go, opportunity. Oh no, 3 health. Does Jonah P survive? Thought he was going to have that, but Sterling came in to save his teammate's life, and what little chance he had, it is gone. So 12-5 is our scoreline. The force buy not working out at all for Team 1. And now in a very tough situation, as losing this round with the full eco, which, assuming they don't get incredibly lucky and have their opponents make a massive colossal mistake, they certainly should. We're going to have Station 7 on towards 13.
Just a Deagle and a P250, a solitary flashbang for Team 1. Aggression from Frosty K out to B. No real information yet, though. There's a 4-man stack from Team 1. However, the bomb has positioned itself towards A, and the stack should lead to nothing but maybe a kill onto Frosty K as he mows down 2. Sterling, in the meantime, eliminated the 1-man resistance on A. PRT trying to do damage through middle. We'll get a bit of chip damage, but nothing more. Takes a lot more in return. The nade will all but finish him off as Barton was able to eliminate Jonah with the USP. But still only 1 kill for Team 1. As they have a bye coming up here, but this very well could be their last full bye of the entire map, as they will be forced onto an eco should they lose this round. Whereas Station 7, they still have a couple Galils here.
They do indeed. Let's see what they can get done. It's interesting to me that they commit into the double op. It's a really tough gun to make work in a ping situation like this, but Maluk will make me eat my words as he's dropping bodies. There's 2 already untouched. Glass cannon doesn't matter. Maluk's going to take things in hand. He is going to make this happen one way or another. And that gives them such an advantage starting out early on. Station 7 just shot down towards mid. They will have Frosty K still here top mid to be a bit of a nuisance, but I don't think he wants to overstay his welcome. He's watched 2 teammates just get blasted away in front of him. He's going to say, you know what? Fine. You take mid. We'll let Droid try and do something out of underpass. Otherwise, we're just going to group up and try something completely different. So they will group up for this B hit. They do have another op to deal with. Fortunately for them, it's all the way over at Ticket. So it's going to be up to Barton and PRT to hang on to this B bomb site setup. Still should have a decent situation to taking on 3, and their utility now coming in at just the right time to enable this info peak, but Barton may have gotten the wrong info. Now he's realized the error of his ways. He's going to drop the smoke, try and give a bit of cover, and they'll find a couple of frags. Maluk gets another, somehow continuing to do damage, leaves it all on to Droid. who will find Maluk, the low HP player, but that's all she wrote is PRT can come in. And that's just the story of Maluk in that round. Glass cannon op, he takes it all in hand, finds the opening, frags, and also a critical kill to make sure the bomb doesn't go down and that the site is theirs. And what a way to win.
Not only did he get the third kill on B site, but he also tagged the player behind him. So that was a collateral. He did damage to 4 players in that round with 3 shots.
That's beautiful.
Absolute insanity from Maluki.
We love to see it. We love to see it. That is, talk about making the best of a bad situation. Talking about fighting through adversity. Talking about finding a massive round in a tough situation down 13-6. With your ping doing what it's doing. Just a reminder, folks, for anyone watching, he's currently rocking 170 ping. Lowest ping on his team is 149 for Barton. Counts himself lucky. So it's a tough situation for sure. Station7 still not a team that you can take lightly in any circumstance, but definitely not a good circumstance for Team 1, to say the least.
Not good indeed. Their utility also not a good circumstance. They have 3 kits, but their utility already whittled thin. 3 flashbangs, 2 smokes, 2 Molotovs, and an HE. Along with the op, though, so Maluki on his op very well can repeat his performance from the last round. Although he has removed himself to ticket booth, was watching from the top down in the middle. As there's a 3-man stack towards A, 2 on B with mid pretty much given up by the Brazilian squad. PRT watching passively from back of Cat. To contrast that, though, Station7 playing extremely passive in their own right. Barton, though, may have spotted the cross of Jordan Apartments as he's starting to make his presence known. Smokes from both sides will go out, burning further utility from Team 1. Bit of molly damage onto Barton, who has to fall away from the balcony. But now, Station7 are starting to take their presence back to A, sending some false signals the other way and hoping to draw the rotation. That rotation actually has come over. Maluki's abandoned the A site, and if Station7 hurry, they have a very much easier task because they don't have to deal with an op. They only have to deal with 2 players, and they have some Kriegs. They have plenty of utility, Molotovs, and flashes to play with.
Problem is, Shank's almost getting the wrong information by making his way all the way up Catwalk at this point. If he finds his kill on Barton, that might tempt them in. They found a pick to complement it over towards A, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on TRK. He's got to get something wild going. He hit the scoping of the second player, so he knows to anticipate it, but it doesn't matter. Jonap's just so fast on that swing. This dual going on of the lurks over here towards the B bomb site, and Shank has made himself a true nuisance. And he will ultimately, eventually get that kill, but that's going to give Maluk an opportunity to go mad. It would have taken a mad performance there individually, and unfortunately for him, he can't quite find it. So it's going to be all she wrote in that round, and may just have been the last major opportunity for Team 1. They've now got a decision to make. Do they force buy? They do indeed. They're risking it for the biscuit. They don't fancy playing for 9 rounds of overtime. They're going to buy it all down here. Just go for it or bust. So this gives Station7 a very clear path to victory. If they can overcome this meager buy, the Eagles, Famas, UMP, it's going to be an easy path to securing the win. This is for match point, and fast they are going out onto a site with only 1 defender. It's Barton, who has a hail of fire in his face and is about to start cursing the name of his opponents because they have put him in a really tough spot. Chance here for Pesa to get back through. They've lost the first body, but here we go. The swing through smoke. They had to do something. That wasn't quite the answer, but I appreciate the attempt. Bomb will now be down. It's a 5v3 situation, and even though Sterling's low, that's pretty much the only silver lining you can count for them, and it seems like already PRT and Maluk are saving this. So that's going to be a punt on the round. They'll have 2 Famases saved through, a Deagle, some armor, little bit of held utility, but this is really a dire circumstance. Okay, PRT gets an upgrade. That's a big kill to find. That gives them something extra into this round at least. But 9 rounds. 9 rounds, Austin. Do you really have a glimmer of hope that this could happen?
I have to quote Taco on this one.
Okay.
So Taco's talking about a time when, at the time it was SK, was playing against Virtus Pro. And they're down 15-5. So Fallen tells them, we think we are good, we win this now. Did they win? Of course not. 16-5. And that just about sums up my hope for Team 1 here.
Seems about right. Seems about right. But they are certainly going to try. We'll see what they can get here. We'll see if they can make anything happen. They do have that 1 found Krieg. Would be almost poetic if that came to be the utensil they used to get themselves out of a serious jam. Oh, here we go. A little spam of damage, just a tickle. PRT just letting them know that he's got the Krieg, that they should be cautious. They should be aware of its possibility. He continues to find more spam damage. Troy just standing stock, still gets caught. So there we go. Not the way I expected that Krieg to be put to use, but hey, I think they'll take it at this point. He's thanking his lucky stars. Nice little spam kill for him into the kitchen, and that's going to be an opening pick for Team 1.
A good opening pick is they have some M4s to back up their buy. The Krieg in the hands of PRT already netting a kill. And that's going to make Station 7 rethink that. I think the potential B plan was a B plan early on with the bomb being towards T apps, and now they're going to have to rethink that, run it back to A. Frosty K going to make his way down through underpass. Maluki looking towards top mid. Might get caught out, but the smokes out towards A should redirect his attention back. Sterling might catch out one, spots out Pasadello down towards triple box. TRK though in sandwich gets a long range spray with the MP9, burned down extremely low. Frosty K though will get tapped from behind. In the meantime, TRK rather goes for a second one, and he's taking out Shank, and Maluki comes in for the cleanup frag onto Jonah. And Team 1 are not done just yet. The first of their 9-round string necessary to bring it to overtime has been accomplished. However, Station 7 have more than enough in the bank to buy up in this round. Jonah P goes straight for the op. The rest of his teammates should buy up assorted rifles. And Team 1, another gauntlet to be faced. But they've already done it once. 8 more times. Can they do it?
It's still a very tough task indeed. Frosty K is going to be limited by a CZ in this round, but they've got so many rounds to play with, such a massive cushion for Station 7, and again, such an advantage when it comes towards the ping that this should absolutely still be in their pocket. Still, glimmer of hope here for Team 1, a chance, a possibility, a whisper of a thought that they just might do this. They just might find something. Barton certainly not going to get 2 Krieg spam kills to open rounds in a row. This time he doesn't quite get so lucky. It was PRT last time to find it through with that spam at the kitchen. You got to imagine no one's going to be sticking around in kitchen that long anymore. Maluk really up close with the op. His teammate is lost. It's a 1-for-1, but Maluk can bring back the second frag. The problem is this has caused them to completely vacate the B-bomb site. They have cleared right on out, and that has welcomed Station 7 in. Unfortunately, no control towards Catwalk, and Frosty K planting out the open is not a healthy formula for sustained success. And so PRT is making use of this Krieg to just drop bodies left, right, and center. It's all going to be on Jonah P, who, playing the game of geometry and guesstimation, does know where the first player is coming from. And he's going to make an educated bet here. Gets the bomb planted at the very least, and he can withdraw. This is really bold from Jonah P. They're both coming from Catwalk. He doesn't know that yet, but slipping out to the bench will make this a lot easier. And as the smoke fades, he's got a player standing in it. There's one. Now one more kill for Jonah to close this out here and now. Prevent the comeback before it even happens, and he's got the spot. But Pesa's got the kill. It will be another round for Team 1, clinging on just by their fingertips. They do survive. Just barely. But survival is the objective right now, and Boggs, that's what they found.
That got way too close for comfort for your Station 7 to almost win that round. Jonah P coming up with a couple massive frags. Pesa able to shut it down, but one thing to note, that plant by Frosty K, going for a cat plant with no cat control whatsoever. Bit of a blunder there. You might want to have that safe apps plant, especially given the fact that you do have a player already up in apps. Don't have to worry about jumping somebody back up there and getting caught out. Team 1 are able to capitalize. And Station 7 don't exactly have the best buy to counter Team 1 of this round. Team 1 might very well get on the border of double digits. Bring it back to 15-9. As there is going to be an execute in the works for Station 7, but all the guns, all the ammunition, all the weaponry, all the armor, all the utility in favor of Team 1. Pesa with the first kill to Molly frag, but Droid on top of a smoke going for a second kill on the PRT, takes him down to half, and Maluki now takes down Jonah through the smoke. Looking for more as Pesa as he takes down Frosty. Sterling last alive, gets hunted to oblivion, as only one loss for Team 1 is massive for their own economy, which has been decimated in these last few rounds. Double op setup has been saved. And now they're on the brink of double digits. 15-10, far superior than 15-6. And now you might start to smell the comeback for Team 1.
This is pretty wild. This is quite unexpected, especially considering the wildest thing about this is how significant the AWP has been for Team 1. It's a really tricky gun to make work when you have this kind of a ping disadvantage just because of the precision it requires and timing. And they are definitely making it work, so color me impressed. I've always found Maluk impressive as an individual, but he's definitely doing it right here. And this time, aggressive play works out. They go bold, they flash up their opponents to give themselves an advantage in towards that peak, and they make it work. And now they've got a man advantage as well, and Maluk's still on the defended bomb site on A. He's got to be a bit careful here. Oh, Jonah P has just shown himself. He showed himself. He's still going to get the pick somehow. Yes, PRT will trade it back, but that's unreasonable, Jonah. So quick on the trigger finger. Leaves everything on Deschonk. He's a player who's capable of it, but Barton won't give him a chance to get started. The kills come through. The frags come in. The ops get saved, and double digits are found for Team 1.
Double digits indeed. The double op setup recovered because Maluki did go down, but still, double op setup lives. The money starting to fade a little bit, but for Barton, he's at 6.6k. Station 7 back on a half buy as they have failed to find even a bomb plant in the last several rounds. They rushed B a couple rounds ago, went back for an A play, and now it seems they've returned their bets back to the apps push. However, Barton scoped in on apps. The flashbang goes in, and once again, PRT dealing massive damage through the spam wall. Barton, though, up close.
It's a missed chance. Pistols are going to run him down now. That's a lost opportunity. The kills come in. The trades are good. As long as they keep these even trades, this is a great situation for Station 7. But it's starting to come back the other way. The rifles have gotten in. The ops are a little easier to bully with pistols up close. But hey, this might still work. It's all going to be on to Jonah P. Oh my goodness, Jonah. What was that shot onto the high HP player as well? He connects with the dome. Now he's just got to deal with TRK, who's weakened, who's low. And that's going to be it. That's going to be all she wrote. They will drop. The comeback attempt was valiant, but it wasn't quite enough. That was quite the showing. That was quite the valiant attempt from Team 1. I appreciate what they tried to do there. I appreciate the resolve they showed to rally, but ultimately Station 7 had that one in their pocket from a long time. They let up off the gas a little bit towards the end, but they found their footing once more, and they carried through the dub in the Mountain Dew League.
Of all the ways to lose a map, that is unfortunate for Team 1, but a valiant effort indeed. 150 to 190 ping across the board. They got double digits. They got 10 rounds against Station 7, who are a very solid contender in Mountain Dew League. So all things considered, still a great showing from Team 1. Maluki having some great rounds. PRT, though, the standout performer for Team 1, making his MDL debut. So good showing from him. All in all, though, great signs from Team 1. If they can make their way back to NA and not have to play with this ping, definitely can very well make a playoff push, potentially making it to that global challenge spot and vie for a spot in ESL Pro League Season 12.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our first show of the night. We got 2 more coming at you. The next one is going to be Big Frames taking on Mythic. We'll be back in a flash with that one. Stick around, folks. You're watching the ESEA Mountain Dew League, and we'll be right back.
I've been working part-time jobs, chasing all my dreams out lately. No matter if I try too hard, nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side. I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different. Tell me everything's alright. Life is just a bunch of phases, and if it's not, we'll still be fine. I know we're going places. I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side. I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to our second game of the night here at the ESEA Mountain Dew League. We've got Mythic taking on Big Frames, and this game's going to be taking place on Overpass. I personally pretty excited to see what's going to happen here. Big Frames have looked amazing so far, but they've only played Mirage. Mythic, meanwhile, do look like they're going to live up to their name and be a bit reborn. Most exciting Mythic team I've seen in many a season. I'm Darth Mike, joined once again by Boggs, coming at ya fresh. Boggs, what do you think we're going to see today?
I think we're going to see a slugfest of a matchup. Mythic, as you mentioned, looking extremely exciting. Probably the best Mythic roster in the last 3 or 4 MDL seasons at least. Reminds me of how Mythic were back when they first became a team with a Dren leading the charge. Now that he is on Liquid, they kind of had a bit of a downturn, but this Mythic roster, extremely flamboyant, really. A lot of firepower, a lot of fun to watch. And Big Frames, another team hot off the presses, doing a lot of good work. So we should be in for a really wild ride.
Flamboyant. That's a good word. It's a good word indeed. Flashy. Another one. Nice kill as well there as Calm follows up on the flashy little gun work, but here's a couple frags coming back. Calm trying to stay alive in connector, will be able to do so. He's got to be a bit careful. He's swinging out without a care in the world, and Dev will take advantage of that on positioning. Had no idea there was still a player lurking over to the side. Now they've got control of the B bomb site. So despite the ground they took, because Dev keeps getting kills as he opens this up further and further, they're just going to keep rocking around. And Dev won't even hesitate. He won't wait for a plant. He'll just continue to rock out with his strong pistol play. Find himself a third on the round with no mercy, no patience, no chill. And it'll be a solid Big Frames pistol round win. Dev is a pistol god. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He is a monster.
You could just shorten that to he is a god, period.
True, but the pistols in particular are what I always think of. He's got a very strong deagle, and the USP, as we saw right there, was quite impressive. We've seen them twice on Mirage already, and he has a nasty habit of solo opening up the B bomb site, just trying to be alert, and then winding up killing everyone on the plant. So, always been an impressive player, but it seems like he may have just found another gear this season, and that's a prospect that I'm excited to see. Oh, nice tag from Flom, but he's going to get overwhelmed. The bathrooms had no support, wasn't able to get away. There will be a trade from Katie. She didn't even take down the low HP player, so you've still got Bite, who's quite vulnerable to these pistols. And Katie, another player who's pretty nutty with these pistols in hand. Always has the possibility to just find a couple absurd headshots and do a lot more damage than you're necessarily expecting in the small package that is a P250. As we see there, a second kill for Katie, keeping this close. And look at the damage that's been done. Dev and Bite both limping along. One bullet shot away from death, and ZNF is coming in on the flank as well. This could be so very dangerous. This could be so deadly. The Big Frames, they're surrounded, and they don't quite know it yet.
They are surrounded, but Nero's wise to it. ZNF goes down thanks to a great shot from Nero. Dev holding close for Calm to push out Bank, and then pulling the last man coming in from Dumpster. Down goes Calm, and Nero will help out Dev, who didn't quite connect the initial spray on the Poland. But either way, bomb goes down. Big Frames win. Got a little messy, but still, 3 players do survive. The victory is theirs. Mythic, no real money to buy in this round. Katie will drop a couple pistols around as she got a couple kills. That Dink almost taking Dev out too. If she would have gotten the 3rd kill, I think Mythic win that round, hands down.
Would be a classic Katie play to get a 3K. Just always seems like they come in 3s. That time only 2, though. Still impressive with the P250, but that damage was insane. Just the amount that it came down. Nero really saves their bacon there just by getting the flank kill, having the awareness for it. This time it's Welshi to open up the floodgates. There was not much to stand in his way. A quick, swift rain just washing away whatever blockage there was, and now a follow-up kill as well. Bomb going to be planted. There's an attempt that will probably be made by ZNF and Flom here to get a little something in damage on the exits, but there's no reason Big Frame should give them anything. They've just got default pistols here. They don't even have armor, so there's really not much worth taking through into the next round, and this is going to be a 3rd for Big Frames as they've just looked very, I think, very decisive and very confident in their hits so far. Very hard to draw a conclusion from something this early on just because you don't have a sample size. You haven't really seen them up against proper guns yet. But from what we've seen of the Big Frames to this point, it's exciting. Just purely in how confidently they're playing their takes.
I would say Big Frames is looking extremely aware here. Like, a lot of the plays they're making are just showing extreme knowledge of the map and basically just how people tend to play it. Nero on that flank, extremely wise to it. It's a very common play, people running up con and through the lanes. Ready for it, trusting his teammates to hold the other angles, the close angle towards Bank being held as there's a safe plant from Dumpster, Bank really being that more dangerous angle. Just really smart plays coming out from Big Frame, shows good comms and good chemistry. And good promise for Big Frames early on. Of course, though, the first buy up from Mythic coming out here. Flom has his weapon of choice, the big green gun. And a bit of a missed molly will start things off on a left foot for Big Frames. Not quite their best efforts as of yet. But in through Spire and Flame, ZNF will spray down Welshi. Look for a little more damage, but still the opening pick goes the way of Mythic. For the first time in a few rounds, 2 rounds now, they have something going for him. But Flom, if he's not careful, could get picked off by the Krieg. And down he goes. It's Dev to capitalize on the spray. And now Big Frames will charge their way up onto A. The bomb getting planted on Dice. A double opportunity, though, but Katie only able to get one before Picky can pick her off.
This is where it gets interesting. There's a flank on the flank, right? There's Bite coming up, but he's going to need to be pretty quick here, and he's got to be cautious about not giving up the audio cue. Picky has a Glock. Did he throw his rifle away? I'm not sure what's happened here for Picky.
I think he tried to upgrade his Mac 10, but the rifle flew away.
Oh,
But
he's
it
still going to
doesn't
get the
matter,
kill.
apparently.
And the
No,
second?
he just got both.
How do you allow him to do that? Picky is tucked, just trying to play conservative because he accidentally tossed his gun away, and he gets it done with the Glock. The Glock, Boggs. That should have been a disaster, but somehow Picky comes out on top, and Big Frames find their 4th round. What on earth?
Glocks. They lost to Glocks. Or, I guess, one singular Glock.
Just Glock. Period.
Just Glock. Period. Yeah. I still don't know why or how that was possible.
That's
But
unreal.
it happened. And I want to watch that again because I still can barely believe what I just saw.
Picky, the absolute champion.
The Glock
Absolute
champion.
champion. I mean, I still think that probably would have been a Big Frames round, just based on the positioning, based on the way they were playing back through, but there's no way. Maybe he gets 1 through the element of surprise, but 2 should have been unacceptable there. It's concerning, without a doubt. Calm will at least be able to get this frag. He gets the Krieg and slips away, but he's down to 5 HP, and they're chasing him with nade, so he's got to do his best just to stay alive. Otherwise, this B-bomb site is wide open and ripe for the taking. Katie will come in to support, but it's such early days in the round that it's just a question of how they can hold on. They will deliver that Krieg over to the player with actual health in Katie to see if she can have a bit more impact with the 1 rifle they now find themselves with. But Flom going down is going to make this all that much more tough. At this point, honestly, if I were Katie, consider the save, but she wants to go for the impact. The impact's not going to be found. Calm, just going to try and withdraw. Maybe find a little bit of an exit frag. The bombs, or the rifle rather, is even so far committed to the site. I don't think Calm can retrieve it. He's going to try, but the nade will find him. It was really just a matter of time there. So a 5th round for the Big Frames. Just an absolute smack lay down in these first few, but another gun round opportunity here for Mythic, and this time around, they'll have the AWP. We know that Overpass could be a map that's so strong for that CT side op, and Flom's going to get a chance with a big green gun to really have some impact, to frag out, and see if they can't take control of some of this map.
He also has a bit of a spawn for the Fountain Peak, should he choose to go for it. I think that might be a good idea. Get some information if he can't get the pick initially. Still fall away and keep that gun up. But most importantly, get the information. Because it's something that Mythic have sorely lacked. They played pretty passive, relatively speaking. Of course, ZNF did get that opening kill onto Welshi on the first gun round, but that was more or less because Big Frames got aggressive rather than ZNF. So right now, I think Mythic do need to get some information. They've been sorely lacking for it. And getting that op fountain would be a great chance for it. And that's exactly what Flom's going to go for. Running through the bathrooms. Molotov to stop the T-Con push. But it doesn't matter. Big Frame's going for that B push. The information is there. Flashbangs through. Molotov's down. And Big Frames are chunking the damage. Burning alive. Roasting like barbecue. But Pinky still got the first pick. A Kobe comes in and Calm's doubled down. Looking for the triple onto Nero on 6 HP. And now I think Big Frames may finally have lost their first round. Although Welshi has full HP, Nero has utility, and he has an op in hand.
A change-up of pace definitely didn't work out for them. It felt like they might have had the positioning, but just a situation where they didn't win the duels. Katie comes in for the cleanup crew, getting 2, and mopping up the situation to get Mythic on the board with heavy bodies up as well. It was a hail of gunfire on towards the site, and just the aggressive play from Big Frames came up against a wall. Really nice play from Calm in that situation to get the 2-piece. There was the nade as well to seal the deal, and that's going to make it a Mythic win. Now we'll see if they can build off of it. 4 alive definitely gives them a prime opportunity to do a ton of damage to really start to build themselves up into this half, but they've already given up 5 to their opponents on what should theoretically be a CT-sided map, so they really need to start doing work right now. It's going to be aggression in towards Connector, it seems. They'll be taking some ground here early on. Katie's holding this pretty passive, though, so she's going to be able to fall out without being threatened. Smokes up to cover it, and they'll go ahead and withdraw. Turtle up towards site. They don't want anything to do with this early bathroom fight. Although that nade, a little bit of a parting blow, if you will, a little sally forth, and it's nicely done.
Yeah, Byte's taking a bit of damage as well, down to that 1 dink territory, but Poland getting caught out very well may fall to Dev, who will flash his way out, but still lurk around that B-bomb site. You mentioned how effective he was on Mirage of solo clearing B on the lurk. If he can bring that prowess into B overpass, it's such a dangerous player to have, because you can cause the rotations to flood on down, or even get the flank up through underpass stairs and split onto A from behind and in front. Great opportunities if you can get that B control solo, but I think Big Frame's right now just content to look for some information. The bomb, however, is rotating down to B. Nero might be gifted a kill, though, as Com's going for some aggressive peeks. Flom, however, with the other op, spots out Bite's leg and takes a bit more of a chunk out of him.
So there we go, an opening pick. We'll see if they can operate off of it. Flom, risky, playing around the dump up. He's going to get caught back behind the dumpster and drop down the stairs. The trade is good, though, for ZNF. They'll maintain control, but the problem is this is a softened bomb site. Com has to get frisky, and actually Poland getting that kill completely disguises Com's position, so now he can check the planter. It's all going to be left to Picky, and he will win the duel. It's a 1v1 now for Picky, a chance to get the bomb plant to boot, but time has run out, and he doesn't have a chance to punch in the numbers. He might even get that last kill on ZNF, but at the very least, he'll stay alive with the AWP. It was a costly round for Mythic, but they bought themselves enough time to make it happen. That really comes down to Com hiding in the smoke, catching the planter before the bomb actually goes down to win the round for Mythic, and they will be able to run 2. Because they kept 4 alive in the previous, now when they only survive with 1, it's less of a fatal blow. They can keep that economy healthy, they can keep it growing, they can keep it going into the next.
Yeah, Big Frames, though, still able to get a buy in this one. They have the op, the Kriegs, the AKs, all the utility they could wish for. One thing they don't have, though, is that much map control. Bit of long presence from Nero with the op, scoping in, now moving his way into party. But B has been relatively abandoned, Dev just holding for some aggressive pushes, and now Bite's starting to work his way up through Con. So a little more control, a little more information for Big Frames, as now it seems that A might be their play. The bomb, however, still back of Con. So plenty of time on the clock to rotate down to B, or plenty of time to grab the bomb and make it back to A. So Big Frames with a lot of room to play. However, the time will start to dwindle eventually. They will have to make a play. Mythic playing extremely passive, not going for any real aggression. However, Bite may get spammed down by Com. The open door allows him to see, and he will get away with taking Bite down to just 10 HP. No return damage from Big Frames as the clock ticks down to 40 seconds. A hit has to be made, and it will be B. Mid-site smoked off already. The rotations coming in 34, 33, 32. Still no site take from Big Frames. They're burning it down to the wire. This could get messy.
And through that side smoke, I think, to try and bait out the CT utility, give themselves enough time to have it delay, but now we're seeing it again. They're just not going to have time to see this realized, and so Poland, dancing around the pillar, is doing enough damage to shut it all down. One after another, he's lining up the kills. He'll eventually lose his life, but now everything's on Nero. 10 seconds, he has to force the plant, and so the spam should just come through. He somehow made it through the hail of bullets, but now that the smoke fades, his life is forfeit. Com will catch the frag. It'll be a 3rd round for Mythic. A bomb plant at least may allow some armament to come into the next for the Big Frames. But this is starting to slide against them. The momentum is starting to build in the other side. There's definitely justification for a buy here. A couple players will be a little limited, but they should be able to get up enough to really compensate for it. Still, the Big Frames seem like they might be taking the half-buy situation. Just going for the pistols, maybe an AK to work with. Make sure you've got enough for your big rounds. Still, time becoming an issue here. Now 2 rounds in a row where the clock really operated as a 6th man for the Mythic side, and you can't let that consistently be the case. Big Frame's gonna go for a faster play now. They'll eat a nade, somehow missing all the damage. Thought Katie was gonna catch somebody off with that. Chunk up damage. He did get caught there. Trades come in. Bite actually dropping his teammate in sacrifice, but Katie comes up with 2 of her own. And now the lineup for Poland, the 2-piece found the round 1. Mythic survive. Was looking dangerous after Flom gets caught off by the pistols, but an answer back, a rally, and a quick 2-kill for Poland keeps them floating. Also a little TK. That helps.
TK did help, but it was all based off that initial damage. The Krieg taking so much. The gun might be a little overpowered, you might say. Just a little bit.
Just a pinch. Choose to tooch.
A smidge, perhaps.
Wee bit. What's your opinion? What do you think they should do to bring that gun back in line?
Honestly, now that everyone knows how good the gun is and is using it, I don't think that raising the price will do much to really nerf it unless you go and make it almost equivalent to an op. So like $4,000, which I think would pretty much cause nobody to buy the gun in the first place.
Yeah.
But then if you change the gun, nobody's going to buy it because it won't be worth buying anymore. So it's kind of a catch-22 where there's really nothing you can do without completely obliterating the gun.
I disagree. See, okay, pick's going to come in. Flom's actually getting a pick and not getting immediately traded. So here's a nice change up for Mythic. That's definitely going to make it easier if they can keep their Opera consistently alive and he can find impact. The bathroom position was not working out for him, but playing a little bit further back towards site just may be the ticket, if you will. They're going to gain ground behind this smoke, but Big Frames once again playing it slow, and this push in towards long could have been deadly, but Klum gets caught out. It's not going to work, and now the bodies are dropping. This is getting very problematic indeed. A lot of pressure is going to be on Flom. He has to hit this shot, and indeed he does. Bomb now toppled out in the open. They have to deal with the op presence, but by that same token, they know the rotate's coming through. Dev will deal with the big threat first. And now he has a chance for a plant. There's a window of opportunity, and it's going to be a 2v2 in the post plant. And Big Frames have gotten to these situations before. They have been so very good. Poland going to try and get the party started. He's got a low well sheet, so just a quick shot should be enough. And as he clears it, he will find the dome to boot. So that's nicely done. Now everything's on to Dev in a 1v2 behind smoke, hiding behind Optimus, trying to keep their dreams alive. He'll find the first, but he's low on health as a result of that duel. Does he have enough to hold ZNF at bay? 3 bullets in the gun. It's got to be a headshot or it's nothing. And it will be nothing indeed. ZNF just enough time to get this defuse through and to tie up the scoreline at 5-5.
Dev almost had a chance there, but ZNF played it well. Baited out the shots and then walked on in. I think Dev was trying to buy time primarily, though, as the time was getting a little low for a defuse, but unfortunately for him, the ZNF closed the gap a little too fast. But now both teams have full buys once again. Big Frame slightly limited on utility. But Nero has his op, Flom has the big green gun in his hands. A couple Kriegs for the Big Frames. No T-setted weapons for Mythic, as that was a bit of a costly round, and once again, their economy has been chunked down extremely low. It has been a streak of 5 rounds in a row for Mythic, but aside from that, their economy does not show it. It's still players at $0, $50, $450. Only ZNF has any residual cash built up. And it seems that it's been more of a trading game as far as rounds are concerned rather than an actual blowout 5-5 string. In the meantime, though, Calm has gone aggressive into water, taking out Dev. That's a big chunk of the offense for Big Frames down, but Nero will neutralize Katie, who's been a staunch defender for Mythic. Now in this 4v4, there's a little more room for Big Frames to work with, and it's going to cause Mythic to have to make a play here, unless Big Frames are going to waltz through fire. Welshi down to 28, and Flom from Bank drops the bomb. ZNF will get another, as Flom will add a second to his tally, and the third to boot. The hat trick comes in, and Mythic 6 rounds straight to get a lead.
There you go. And this might be the chance to build a little bit of bank as well. They're keeping 3 alive. They're working on this. They're getting there. They're getting something going. And this gives me a chance to go on my Krieg rant that we got suspended two rounds ago. I think the change here is very similar to what they did with the AUG nerf, which is you change the unscoped accuracy and you lower the fire rate a little bit. You make it a much more situational gun. The issue right now is that the Krieg is so powerful in tight up fights and also so powerful at range. So you've got to make it more situational. You got to make it a genuine choice for when players employ it vis-a-vis when they employ an AK. And I think that would really be the key difference you could do. Bite has been tagged down. A lot of damage has been done to what was already a lackluster buy, already a challenging situation for them. And these bodies are just going to continue to be dropped. This is not working out so far early on for Big Frames. They didn't have much to work with here, but what they did have seems to be coming up to a whole lot of nada. Poland at least is low, but nobody's left alive. It's going to be left to Picky and Dev, and oh my goodness, Picky is only hanging on by a thread. He's going to try and regain ground with that deagle. Still, maybe just a headshot, all he needs to get a pick, but you can't imagine they're going to find much ground towards the site, or really even a bomb plant. At this point, a plant would be a miracle, and Katie has no interest in letting that happen. Quick 2-piece for her. Cleans up the round, keeps them all healthy as well, and they now have a 2-round lead. They have the economy built up because nobody just died. And Mythic Reborn feeling pretty good to close out this half.
Yeah, it looked really messy at the start. Potential for Big Frames to absolutely sweep away this T side. Instead, Big Frames actually with a bit of a subpar T half. They need 6-7 rounds to really make it viable. Instead, Mythic Reborn on pace for that 10-5 half, which would really give them the opportunity to close things out on their T side. Aggression from Calm once again, peeks into sewer pipe, sprays down Nero, sideswipes him. And that gives me a chance to talk about how good Calm has been for Mythic since his addition. I think he's somebody who goes a little underappreciated for that team with the big names like Flom and Katie. But I think you really can't underestimate how good Calm's been. CNF goes 1 for 1 as Picky trades, but still the advantage with Mythic. Sprays in, Calm with 1, Picky and Bite get more, but Katie doubles down, locks down the site, gives Mythic the half win, and they're on pace for more.
They are indeed. Still, it's going to be another buy up here from the big frames at this point with a max loss bonus. You can kind of just keep running it, but they have not had anything in 8 rounds now at this point. This is tough indeed. Once the guns came out, once that buy got healthy, once Mythic, it almost felt like a mentality change came through for them once they won that first round, where they've gone from looking a little slapstick in their first few rounds to very much putting up an iron front. Even when they start to lose these trades, they tend to bring it back, and here we go. Here's what might be testing their resolve in this round. They've lost Calm early. They tried to do something a bit different. They went for heavy aggression out towards Fountain, and they were punished for it. There's going to be a spot for Katie, but now that she knows that they know that she knows that they know where they are, she's going to go ahead and withdraw back towards site. No reason to give up that information. And Flom getting pulled in the bathrooms. This has not worked for him consistently as a position on this map. This time, a bit more of a passive angle. I like this for an Opper. The trick is just you need utility to come in once you take that first hit and bail to keep you alive. They're going to bring another player up here. Look at the aggression from ZNF. He's got so much control out the monster tunnel that they're going to bring that third player up towards the upper site just based on his position. He's going to try and clear into construction, and Dev is actually watching for this, so this could be a timing game. Bite and Dev could catch ZNF out here, and it doesn't matter. ZNF's so good. Will win that duel. He's about to lose his life, but he does damage indeed, and a second frag to boot. How on earth does he get it from that position? Should have been dropped for sure, but he's done enough impact to keep his teammates alive to make this very possible for them. And now Poland, who's wormed his way into this water position, will find more. It's all working out for them. Will she last a drop in Poland? The nice 3K to secure the round. We head to the last round of half, and Mythic are well positioned to put up double digits.
One more last-ditch buy from the big frames. Their last few rounds, their last 9 rounds, rather, have been rather disappointing. So for big frames, they really need this round to give themselves something to play for in the next half, some momentum. Because since Mythic found their first, it's been all Mythic. Several clean rounds. There were a few close ones from big frames, but a lot of times they lost rounds, whittling the time down too far. Ships in the dark goes the way of Bite, jumping on in. Barrel stuffs Katie, and now she will eliminate Flom, who was half blind thanks to Picky. And this is a site taken by Big Frames, 5 alive on the hold, and they've heard the sound of ZNF getting ticked away by the Molotov. This should be the 6th for Big Frames, which is about a stock half for T's side overpass. However, Calm on the flank. Nice tap onto Bite, Molotov into sight. And there's a lot more damage for Mythic to do before this round's all said and done. They all have kits. Poland pushes in. Calm gets a second, and now the tables have turned in favor of Mythic. But Picky will scope in, take one more. She gets the second, and now Calm. 1v2, low HP. Damage on to Picky. But he's still tapping the bomb, still running away. And as time was about to expire, Picky will put the final nail in the coffin and secure the 6th for Big Frames, however messy it got.
Messy indeed. I think this is pretty wild, just considering how these rounds went, right? 5 rounds in a row for Big Frames, 9 rounds in a row for Mythic, and then just one little cap on the half. So yes, this is a super standard overpass scoreline, and in a vacuum, if you told me that this was a 9-6 CT half, or in favor of the CTs, I'd say of course it was. But the way it happened, the way those rounds were won, a little unusual. You don't often see this being such a chunky map, such a streaky map rather, but indeed it is, and they'll work with it. Now the question is, was that last round enough to sort of shake off the shell shock for Big Frames? Because sometimes the process of just losing 9 rounds in a row can really shatter a mentality. Winning that last one inspires a bit more confidence, gives them the mentality to say, you know what, whatever, we're still in a fine situation for the half. Our CT side's going to be stronger. We'll be fine.
Yeah, that's where timeouts, I think, come into play, though, too, where a lot of teams in North America don't utilize that feature to its fullest extent. But right now, Calm playing in the cubby. Takes a bite out of Bite, gets the first kill, gives the advantage to Mythic, as it seems that they may be on pace for some pistol victory here. 3 players out long A with 1 in T-Con, rotating with the bomb back to the A site. So Calm getting the first pick may also be the first death for his team, but still that information being a false positive for Big Frames. But to go back to that timeout soapbox for a second there, they didn't take a timeout in any of those 9 rounds that were won by Mythic. Sometimes you want to take that time to slow things down, either talk things through or just slow down the momentum. CS is a very momentum-based game, and when Mythic has all the momentum in their favor, you might want to take a second and just cut things dry and make them sit for a bit. Cool them off for a second and give yourself a better chance. Instead, Big Frames went for a battle, and it ended up paying off with only one more round, but very well could have been a 10-5 half and a reverse sweep of that half, as Poland sweeps away Picky.
There we go. Kills coming back in as well. This is looking solid for Mythic. Dev will get one to answer it back, but Flom's continuing to do damage, and this duel will go Dev's way. Still, he would need the full ace to make this happen. He's trying for it. He's got a kit at least, so a little bit of extra time. How does he catch off Katie there? He's chasing this frag. Only 2 bullets in the gun. Goes for the reload to the Glock. They're just playing ring around the Rosie. And oh my gosh, this might just happen. The defuse coming in. If he stuck it, he might have had it. As it is, Cobb coming into the flank. He still loses his life. Dev, are you kidding me? The ace, the defuse, the 7th round for Big Frames.
How does Dev get that flick, the ace, all headshots, all crisp aim, and Dev, he could have had the ninja, but no. He does it in more dramatic fashion, Mike. He flicks around, taps Calm into oblivion, says, "Get out of my sight, get out of my swamp," and sits him right down. Big Frames with the 7th, both pistols on the round, thanks in extremely large part to Dev's heroics. 8 kills on pistol rounds in this game, and Big Frames are right back in it, or should I say Dev Frames are right back in it, because he is the biggest frame of them all.
That's wild. That was unreasonable. Thought for sure he was out of it. I mean, even based on positioning, he had no hope of getting back into that, or certainly shouldn't have. But unreal gunplay from Dev takes it through. Admittedly, they did give him 1v1 fights in pretty much every situation. He had the opportunity to isolate those kills for sure. So a misplay from Mythic, but you don't expect that unreal of play from Dev. So big moment for him. Big round for him. Problem is, it may all come to naught if they lose the follow-up, and that seems to be the case. This force buy from the T side off the back of the plant. We know it's powerful, but it doesn't usually result in 3 unanswered kills with full positioning. They tried to get aggressive, did Big Frames, and it came back to bite them in a big way. So this may be a situation where Dev has to bail his teammates out for a 2nd round in the row, and I don't know if he's got the same mojo in hand with rifles in his opponents. Still, Picky will make it a bit easier for him. 1 player down. So Dev, you've just got to win the 1v4 clutch now, not the 1v5. Easy peasy. Never mind, he's going to save.
Yeah. He's just running away, running for the hills. The mojo is not rising for Dev this round, as he's just going to have to save that M4. Overzealousness from Big Frames, though, being their undoing, as they went for way too many aggressive peaks without any utility to back them up, without any teammates there for the trades, going into a team which they knew had guns going to this round. The current meta, you get a Krieg or 2 off of a bomb plant, some Galils, SMGs. It's a force buy. It's a buy roughly equivalent to what the CTs can muster if that T-sided bomb goes down. So Big Frames not really playing that round exactly to a textbook T, instead trying to, I guess, mix it up, but it comes back to cost them as Mythic take them all out with extreme prejudice and waltz into a 10th round and put Big Frames onto that double eco. So they will have to force up here, which is a big reason why Dev had to save his M4. He can drop a gun over or just save for the op for Nero. And that actually does appear what he's going to do here. But Deagles, CZs, they can do damage. The only thing is, if Big Frames keep going for those aggressive 1v1 duels again against Ts that are posted up ready, I don't think this round will end much different than the previous.
I think it's time for the triple stack. The triple stack backed by Graffiti. Nice play to catch somebody as they try and get through construction. I honestly think they were looking for it right there. Looked like there was a bit of a boost up. You can also just double stack it in a different way, but looked like there was a bit of a boost up for a moment there, but they're going to go ahead and abandon it right now. Long control's been taken by Mythic, so they've got good map control for the moment, at the very least. There's 3 players grouped up for Big Frames. Rather, 4, actually, on towards this B-bomb site. So this is very much the gamble stack. They're just going to leave Nero to try and do whatever he may with a CZ should the hit come towards A. And it seems like he's withdrawing to kind of just play this very passive indeed. Ground steadily being taken by Mythic. They haven't committed the bomb any which way at this point. They're just leaving the player in towards Connector, who will presumably sweep back up. Actually, either of these two players can sweep back up to claim that bomb, bring it towards the site if they need it. And actually, it seems like Mythic haven't really settled on a choice yet. They're shifting into Connector. They got that first phase. They showed a little presence towards bathrooms. Maybe that's enough to draw the rotation. They're going to go ahead and try and slide on in. Maybe find a bit of space towards B. And this could look alluring. Big Frames, no forward presence whatsoever. Dev, admittedly, with the 1M4, has rotated up towards the upper site. And so as they shift their focus once more back towards A, Dev will be well positioned to find the damage. And as we've seen, he can be a one-man wrecking crew, and this time he's got a rifle. Poland's found the first. Here's got to be the swing from Dev. Communication wasn't quite there immediately. He didn't have the response, at least, to catch Poland, who had swung around, so it's just going to be a 1-for-1. And at this point, 4 players up, man advantage, weaponry advantage, bomb already planted. This one should absolutely be secured for Mythic, rather. Big Frame's kind of locked out. I think just going to save their armor, save their upgraded pistols, give themselves something to play with in the next.
Yeah, worth the save here, but Calm's already on the hunt. Bit of an aggressive and risky play, given the fact that he had the Krieg in hand. If Bite took him down, that's a free Krieg for the CT's side, and we all know how powerful that gun can be holding an angle. Lucky for Calm, though, he does survive with just above half HP, gets the kill, takes off 1 armor and 1 pistol from the Big Frames lineup. But all in all, they should still have a bit to play with in the following round. However, the margin for error for Big Frames starting to shrink a little bit here. They won't have a full buy. Mythic should be able to get 12 rounds barring any miraculous conclusion from Big Frames. And that'll be a 5-round deficit. Only 4 rounds for Mythic to take the map and take the match. Things are getting a little dire for Big Frames here.
They are indeed. Let's see what they can muster, though. Let's see if they can get a little bit of action going. Got pistols bunched up in towards this B-bomb site. This would be so disappointing for the Big Frames if after that insane pistol round, after the insane promise of that pistol round, they couldn't get a whole lot more. They're just going to go for the gamble stack here. I respect it. You take a very slim margin of success and you give it at least a little bit more to work with. So expect a slow, patient round out from Mythic. They'll poke, they'll prod, they'll leave a lurk in towards Connector. They'll leave a lurk over here in Calm just to make sure nobody pushes their monster, gets those fast flanks on. They'll probably slowly take control, just like we saw them do last round, and eventually move towards this A-bomb site, barring they don't get spooked for some bizarre reason. And this should be a very secure round. Now, if they find themselves boxing at ghosts, and based on the lack of presence somehow read that it's going to be towards B, or that their best chance is towards B, there's a chance for them to be punished. But as you see their lurkers coming off, I think they've got a pretty good read on the situation, and Mythic's just going to take this for smooth sailing in towards a bomb plant. So we can take a quick moment to look at the scores, see who we got as some top performers here. Poland and Calm both having great games. We've seen some big facts with them. Of course, Dev leading a very top-heavy scoreboard for his team. Dev and Picky at 18 and 13. Fortunately, the performance out of the remaining 3 leaving a bit to be desired. It's not catastrophic by any measure, but they could use a little bit more fragging power coming out from a player like Bite, who's shown a lot of promise in their early games, has shown a lot of potential in their early games. They need him to come alive in this moment, to have a little bit more impact from just a kill output perspective, to give them the ability to compete with a Mythic side that, as you said, very flashy, a lot of fragging potential.
There is indeed a lot of fragging potential, but Big Frames definitely do have a lot to counter it. We've seen some flashes of brilliance from Dev, Picky, Bite. I'd like to see Nero and Welshie get activated a little bit more for the Big Frames here on CT's side. Next round should be their chance to show what they have. Only a couple more chances left. And Mythic, with a bank that's about to explode. One player above 10k, 3 players in the vicinity, and Flom still has 4,400 as the brokest player on his team.
Nice peaceful round there. Pacifist round. Everybody survives on both sides. So
yeah, you don't see that often.
It's a nice CS diplomacy bit. Just everyone chill out, relax, live to fight another day. If only we could get a little bit more of that in the real world, you know? It'd be nice. It'd be nice.
It would be nice.
Still guns up now. No op. No op available. Not a ton of utility either. Just the one kit. Head armor not really a concern, although ZNF and Katie, both with the inferior rifles, the head armor might actually come back to bite somebody. Here's going to be a pick for Flom, but in that same moment, he is going to get traded. A smoke down means Katie can't really trade that frag. She's just trying to prevent the rifles from getting in, and she will get the AK. Dropping her Galil is just a rotten present for them to find instead. So they're not really going to have the chance to upgrade over to that one-shot headshot potential, and that is a nice little detail from Katie, but she did spend a smoke to get it. Oh, this peek could be deadly. Dev's giving it away. Yes, there's a flashbang in, but Comp can just hold down the angle with the spam, and Welshi will lose his life. If anything, Welshi kind of suffers for the sin of Dev just sticking his leg around that corner, giving away the position, giving away the peek, and just tipping off exactly what they were doing to Comp. So now man advantage available for Mythic. A great situation for them as well. And they're going to pressure on towards this B bomb site. It's going to be up to Dev and Picky to get this done. They've got to find the frags back. Molly in, but there's a player already through it. They hear him ticking, though. Poland should be giving up. He's still going to find the frag somehow, taking out the big threat in Dev. Picky will get one, but that's all she wrote. And now Nero, all the way over towards Long, is just going to have to save this out. Bomb will be planted. Round will be won. Mythic Reborn climb to 13.
They climb to 13 and send Big Frames back to the Pistols, a 14th extremely likely for Mythic. And Big Frames are going to need a battle back that is quite considerably better than Team 1's in the last map if they want to make a chance of this map. Because right now, I think Big Frames have just about been locked out. Mythic controlling everything, putting Big Frames in the palm of their hand, and just playing with them, really. Mythic are able to do whatever they wish. Big Frames have no counter, and Big Frames in this round won't have a buy to counter anything at all. They go for something aggressive, maybe a nade stack up towards T-Con. They can find something. A couple kills there, damage, bit of confidence, but as it stands, Big Frames, a couple of the rounds they've won have been off massive individual plays. Devs come to mind, at least in 2 rounds. And they need other people to step up with these kind of individual plays, but also they need the team play to come through.
They do, absolutely. I mean, it just needs to be a little bit more across the board. If you're relying on one individual, it's not going to be sustained success, especially when Mythic are confident. This is they do have a tendency to be a momentum-based team, but the momentum's in their favor right now, and that's working out. Flom will take that momentum and ram it straight into Picky's face. Quick kill. Dev gets an answer. That's all she wrote. Just the Deagle out on site. There was not much of hope for him to find much more. This is a lackluster round for them for sure. Nero with the M4 might be able to do a bit something. Bite will lead the charge, and he will charge straight into an HE that blooms right before his eyes, and possibly the most impactful spot it possibly could have, and chunks him down to 4 health. So he is limping, sending the hospital bill on to his insurance agency, assuming he has one, trying to survive right here. They're going to go ahead and withdraw. Mythic, dominant, victorious, head on to 14. Not a problem, not a care in the world. And Big Frames, they'll get one last hurrah, one last big attempt to try and shut this down, but it's going to be a do or die at this point. You can see Poland, he's just the janitor crew. He just wants to keep all these guns out of their hands, make sure nobody gets a rifle, and frankly, even if he dies, that'd be worth it, just to keep a rifle away from them.
The rifle will stay in Nero's hands. The op picked up by Dev now. Presumably will be tossed to Nero. Actually, no, Nero actually go for the double op setup. Maybe this will be the catalyst that sparks Big Frame's return to this map. Since round 5, they have won 1 round. 14 of the last 15 or 16 rounds rather have been won by Mythic with relative ease. And I think that speaks numbers or wonders about Big Frame's lack of presence in the most of this map. I mean, they had a good start, but good starts don't mean anything if you can't finish. And Big Frames are missing a wide open goal as it seems right now. They had the perfect setup. They were on pace for a perfect goal, but instead they botched it and sent it 20 feet above the bar.
Did indeed. Now figure out what sport that is, folks. Bite gonna get a swing here. He's got a big opportunity, but he's already been spotted. They're just gonna run him down, and that's unfortunate. Opportunity lost. Bite has gone missing in these last few rounds, and that's a really big problem. Nero can get a blindside shot. That one certainly going to be taken, and a second kill as well, as they don't react to the op out towards Long. They give him an opportunity to get back through, and Nero shutting it all down. 3 big kills. ZNF's position now compromised. ZNF dropped. This is their chance. This is finally the answer. The op was required, but now Nero has announced he's arrived. Bomb is dropped. It's out in the open. The swing can come through. It's all going to be onto Flom. Actually, that bomb's tucked enough behind a planter that Flom can likely recover, but it won't matter because Nero's already on the prowl, and the 4th kill will come in. Nero, big plays with the AWP to come alive at a crucial juncture for his team and give them a hope of getting this. They're still 6 rounds behind, but they've got the ops. They can get healthy now. They can have consistent impact with these rifles. This might just be a different Big Frames team.
It's exactly what the doctor ordered for Big Frames. A massive play coming out from Nero. Those first 3 kills really shutting it down. And the final onto Flom was essentially icing on the cake there. Double op seeming like it was the catalyst that might have sparked something in Big Frames, although there is still a lot more to this tale than has been told. Mythic still with more than enough money. Funny thing though, Flom electing not to go for the op on T side of Overpass. It's a map that the op can do a lot of damage on. Another thing for Mythic, despite their massive bank accounts, they do not have a single creep. So a bit of a questionable decision for Mythic. We'll see if it pays off. And right now, Nero going for another aggressive play, this time peeking all the way up. He drops the bomb, and that's so much information, not to mention a kill. Oh. And the second onto Katie, the flick down was flawless. And now it might just be a 9th on the board for Big Frames. In the meantime, though, Com will waltz out B, land a headshot onto Picky. Bring it back to a 4v3, still favoring Big Frames, but there is a bit of room for Mythic to wiggle in onto B. That seems to be the call now as the bomb has made its way down Con. And Com is walking up towards short.
He's already found 1 pick for his team. Can he find this much space just all on his lonesome? Operating as a secret agent almost. Commando just trying to open up the site. He's got teammates now with him. So let's see what he can find. It's a really careful spot for Wilshy. And this is going to be a tricky angle for them to extract these players from. There's a potential for players to rotate into heaven, as we've seen from Nero. If you give him an opportunity, he's going to do a ton of damage with it. There's going to be the swing. It's a tag back onto Poland, but information found that might just be enough. Poland trying to operate around Com, continuing to do damage as he is single-handedly getting them back into this round. That will be a bomb plant in Com with a 3rd. Com making this happen. All going to be on to Bite, and Bite can find nothing. So that's going to be match point for Mythic. And the frags are plenty for Com and ZNF, and that might just be the end of it. There's not much money left, certainly not for the double op, much less the single op here for Big Frames. I was wondering whether this was going to be a situation where we saw almost a mirror of the first half, where once the ops were available for that CT side, they suddenly looked like a completely different team. Because again, Big Frames has just been unable to buy it for 5 rounds in a row. But unfortunately for them, they can't hang on in that situation in a vital juncture. And now Mythic, I think, are just going to go for the throat. They should absolutely be able to stamp out any resistance in this round. And Nero is the first victim to fall. It's full aggression. It's a full stack. It's Bite just charging at their face to try and find something. But he finds his face full of lead. And at this point, the jig is up. They've realized what's happening. They can just full rotate towards A, but they're not doing that. They're rotating a monster instead. It's mind games on mind games. The rotate's coming through from Big Frames, but in that same moment, they're going to find space, and it's going to be left to Dev to try and find something on this flank, and he does indeed take one, but he's lost the sight. And he's eating a Molotov, flying through the smoke. Can't get any further damage, and everything's going to be left to Picky. Picky must be the salvation of his team at this point. 3 kills necessary to take it home, and he can't even connect with the first. So that's going to be the round. That's going to be the game. That's going to be another win for Mythic Reborn in this Mountain Dew League season as they progress on. And they had the first defeat, I think, of the season to Big Frames. I was also the first time Big Frames played anything other than Mirage, though. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I guess Big Frames not as strong on Overpass as their prowess on Mirage was showing them to be. Mythic, though, with a fantastic string of rounds, minus the opening 5, it was 16-2. So if you completely wipe off those first 5 rounds, it was a 16-2 sweep for Mythic, which I think speaks wonders about how well they've been playing as of late. A couple wins over E United lately as well, showing that they are in fine form. But a great job by Mythic. Dev, unfortunate for him, he had some fantastic rounds, especially on the pistols, but just wasn't enough to get the Big Frames to victory. And we'll see Mythic taking a win, another win, further on to the season.
I mean, at least the man can go ahead and throw that pistol around into his highlight reel. But we're going to go ahead and take a break from our own highlight reel. For our last match of the night is coming in. Should be starting shortly. So I think we've run right up on the time. Well, we've probably got a bit of a break here. But stick around, folks. You're watching the ESEA Mountain Dew League. I'm Darth Mike, and this is Boggs. And we'll be right back.
It's game fuel. It's domination in a can. Oh, tastes like loser tears.
New Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
Sarah, I hurt myself today trying to make the pain go away. Sarah, I want to fade away, be with the stars in outer space. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Couldn't fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, I want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Couldn't fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah. Sarah, I want to fade away, be with the stars in outer space. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low, but I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Cody fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah, Sarah, why you leaving me? You know you can't leave me now. Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, I want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low, but I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Cody fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah, Sarah, why you leaving me? Put me on my misery. We're so far, but so far from close. It's so hard to find my destiny. Try not to drift apart, 'cause you'll be right back at the start. And I don't wanna keep on falling. I gotta stay recalling memories we've lost and found. Explain to me what it's all about.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ESEA Mountain Dew League. I am Darth Mike. We are going to be getting right in to the action right here. We've got Boggs with us once again. It's going to be Team Divine squaring off against Thunder Logic this time around. This time back on Mirage, the most commonly played map in the Mountain Dew League. Always a thrill ride. So just all sorts of fun. What do you think we're going to get out of Mirage this time, Boggs?
I think we're going to get a very explosive T side from Thunder Logic. And Divine, they had a bit of a roster shuffle heading into the last couple of weeks where Curry is no longer with them. And instead, they have former Singularity coach Mac in the server this time, and not sitting behind them and telling them what to do, just telling them from inside the server, also trying to get some frags. Throws his frag and does a bunch of damage. It's a great shot, and Robbie cleans up shop, getting 3 kills. Thief adds 1. Riku will fall, and Rapid actually getting 2 kills before Robbie can put the final nail in his coffin, getting 4 on the round. But to go back to it, yeah, Mac is making his made his MDL debut, I believe it was yesterday, and now playing some more games with Divine.
There we go. You love to see it. He was coaching at one point into the season. He got invited into a roster last minute. I think he was an advanced for a bit, and now up to MDL. So there we go. The frequent MDL coach, now a player. We'll see if he can make his path, whether he can cut a swathe in the Mountain Dew League. At the very least, he's going to have a nice start in this pistol round. They take the first. This Thunder Logic side is very dangerous. They were one of our move-ups from Advanced last season, so always tough for them early on. Frequently, you'll see move-up teams have a bit of a struggle. They also lost Jazz Pimp, who shifted over to playing with the big frames, or rather not with the big frames, with another roster, who will occur to me in a moment. My brain broke.
I'm drawing a blank on it too, so you're
Hold
not
on.
giving me one.
Hold on.
Insaniac, though. He's breaking brains. Riku's down.
Recon
It's
5.
a slow round for Thunder Logic. Recon 5.
Another one of the move-ups. My brain broke. I apologize, folks. I just watched them last night. But
Oh, yeah,
my
'cause
brain broke there.
Recon 5 was intact, and then other Recon 5 left the org. There was a lot of weird org shuffles.
It's confusing times here. Confusing times as well for Rabbit as he finds a player right above him. Robbie, as the smoke fades, will find the frag, but still an advantage to Thunder Logic. They're deadly with these deagles. We'll see if they can find more. And Shaniak, the Opper, has already found a frag, and there's a chance to get a little bit more going. Anderson as well has one to his name, and look at this positioning from Shaniak. He'll be coming back from the window. There's only one player on towards site. Thief is about to back his way right into death, and then Shaniak will find himself an M4 to play with. That's a bomb plant secured for sure, and at this point, this might just be the round. Serious advantage, great positioning. Robbie having to make a heroic play. Mac will at least clear out the flank, clear out the periphery for them. Reduce the numbers as well of these Thunder Logic players. But this is going to be so very tough for Robbie and Mac to get back into. They're out of position. They're going to have long rotations. Honestly, at this point, I think this is a save.
I think that's exactly what Divine are going for here. I think Mac's going for exits, hoping he can take a couple players down before the eventuality of this round being a loss comes to fruition. Yeah, he's going to position himself on the scaffolding outside a ramp. Whereas Robbie just chilling out on the chair, gets up from his seat and will now move away, trying to keep his M4 alive at all costs. We'll see the 2 players from the CT side survive here. No exit frags for anybody, as Thunder Logic took the safe exit into CT, where they already had control. And a really rough round for Divine to lose, given the fact that Thunder Logic did not have a bomb plant in the previous round. That was a full-on pistol force buy. Something similar to CS well before the economy update, which at this point seems years ago.
It's a long time. It's a long time. I miss the hard reset. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I do genuinely miss the hard reset.
I share it.
It feels like a lot of games just last much longer than they should. Pure going to get himself a nice kill. Thief was trying to steal a frag away there. Just getting a little chicky with it, trying to go for that underpass peak. You'll note that Thunder Logic are very aware of the sort of tricky ways you can find kills on this map. That's a shaky fight, but Anderson ultimately comes out on top. Long-range engagement with the SMG, medium-range engagement with the SMG, but playing around the ledge, it definitely got sloppy. He's going to have a chance for the trade, but the bodies are continuing to drop for Team Divine. They're keeping this aggression up, and this time Mac gets caught out. Rabbit, this time genuinely long-range with the MAC-10, is going to get it. Now it's all on to Robbie. He's the lone survivor. He saved his rifle from last round. We'll see what he can do with it in this. He's found the first pick. But he's now completely out of position. They know exactly where he is. They're going to be able to play around him. And Shaniak now has him pinned into the apartments. He can make his way out underpass for sure, but the bomb will be planted by the time he gets there. Much time will he be bled off the clock. So he's going to take this fight, and he's going to promptly lose this fight.
Got the dink, but the dink far from a kill. The Kree definitely favored in that engagement. I think pretty much any T-sided rifle aside from a Galil would be favored in that peak. But anyways, Robbie trying to do what he could with a bad situation. Got one kill, and that's all that'll be yielded to him in that round. Divine, or not rather, but Thunder Logic with a pretty free chance at victory here, making it a 3-1 scoreline. As Divine have stock pistols, 1 flashbang, $200 invested in this round. And if Divine somehow win this, I think I will need a fork to eat pretty much any single word I've ever said.
It's not looking likely, but crazier things have happened, and crazier things have happened to this Team Divine team. You remember, this is the team that last season flaunted the fact that they did not practice, absolutely refused to, and somehow made the last seed in playoffs. Now that they've got an org behind them, I think they're maybe taking the game a bit more seriously. Perhaps. Just a bit. I would hope so. And we'll see what kind of impact they can have now with a slightly more practiced season. This is not going to be the round, though. Just an easy cleanup, and Sharky getting some of those kills with the SMG as well. Going to be quite nice for them, as he just tries to farm up some cash. Maybe Robbie catches a pick here. Never mind, as he will be quite deleted. It's going to be left to Riku to try and find any impact whatsoever, and there will be none. So quickly, this team is dispatched. Nobody's fallen for Thunder Logic. You can see their bank is starting to get a bit ridiculous. Sharky, in particular, making money with that SMG, is already above 10K. And the buy will come back for Team Divine, but they're not going to have an op to operate around. They might have a kit. No, they do not. They invest into the utility instead. So no kit. Retake would get very hairy indeed. And this could be around with their backs to the wall. A chance for Thunder Logic to take this half for being a nice start to a very solid one indeed.
The MP9 still on pure. So Sharky deciding to drop the SMG and go for a much better gun. But as you mentioned, no kits for Divine, no helmets either, and a smattering of utility. Nothing too much. No Molotovs, no HEs. Just smokes and flashbangs for the CT side. And kind of a risky play to forego a kit, as so many times that kit comes into play and is the deciding factor whether or not a team wins or loses a round. Out range with the MP9, Pure drops Mac. That's an M4 down. Riku will trade it out onto the cat push. The jig is up. The hit is in onto B, and Robbie still holding from balcony.
Oh my.
He still has not made his move just yet. Robbie finally pouncing, gets one, gets a second. Thief will bail him out and double down himself. Divine only losing Mac on the initial take. Will take the first gun round, but still more than enough money for Thunder Logic to buy in this round, and Shaniak going back on the op. But once again, Divine lacking the big green gun.
Love that trigger discipline from Robbie. Works out beautifully for them. You gotta love... When a trigger discipline play works, it's just possibly the prettiest thing you can do in CS. It's risky, and that risk just makes it sexy, you know? Makes it exciting, Boggs. It's really what gets you going as a caster, when you see those risky plays pay off. And indeed they will. Riku gonna catch himself a pick because they get a bit aggressive trying to chase down that frag. Pure will have to take a sight on the bench for a little while. And, with his hands just sticking out of the smoke, Thief will trace them to their origin point in the dome of his opponent and dispatch said dome. Crack it like a ripe egg. An overripe egg, one might say. An expired egg. A rotten one. And there's still presence in towards mid. Rabbit holding this. Nearly loses his teammate, but gets the shot off in time. Will catch Riku, and so that gives them at least a bit more ground to work with. But Divine's still definitely an advantage. They have positioning as well. They've got strong spots, and you can see Thief is just holding to make sure no shenanigans come up from mid. They don't work their way into ladder. They don't work their way into the window. I think Rabbit, is he going to go for this jump in? Not yet. He's dropping the bomb. Now I think he's going to take his fight either up catwalk or in towards the ladder room and try and see if he can't get something going.
Still a very slow round from Thunder Logic. 42 seconds on the clock. Finally starting to establish some con control. Rabbit still hanging around in mid. Jumping now into snipers. He's been heard, and Thief was watching for it the whole way. Spots out Shaniak, who is quite low. Taps away, tries to take the aggro. Stellar will fall as Shaniak locks in on his position. Wise to the bait setup, but it does not matter in the end. Thunder Logic lose the round. Divine grab themselves an op. Still have a Krieg to play with. And they finally found their stride here on the CT side. Aside from that pistol round victory. And Thunder Logic did not have money to buy up here. They have some Deagles, Scout, and the Hero AK on Pure. So a bit of a chance for damage. Maybe something more if they can salvage some rifles. But all things considered, it should be another round for Divine. Riku somehow not getting the full kill onto Sharky, as the op will tag him down to 17 HP. But still, Divine definitely favored in this round. A chance to start to build on their own bank account, which has been whittled down a little bit due to the loss of 2 players in the previous round. Whereas Thunder Logic still with something to play with. But Stellar plays around. Only good for 1, though, as Rabbit, looking for a second, will fall to Thief.
This is going to be a tricky spot now for Riku. They've worked a player into the window, and I don't think it's realized yet. Thief isn't watching for it. There was no audio cue, so it wasn't the bench boost. It was a boost on top of a player. There's now, of course, that difference in option, and Robbie's coming back to cover this, but he may not be in time. Riku's facing it with a pistol. He's lost his life. That's going to be the opera down. They're looking for Robbie as well. That gives so many more options over to the T side. Big frag to find, even just in equalizing the numbers, but also in opening up this A bomb site. You can see the response. I like this from Thief. He says, you know what? I'm not going to want to face if they come through on the initial fight. I'm going to clear out ramp, get this information for my team, and then be set up onto a retake if they do in fact go for a plant. The trick here is going to be discipline from Thief to not just swing, although as I say that, nobody's looking his way. He gets the swing, he gets the kill, he withdraws. Never mind. All logic gone. They weren't watching. Well, he will eventually lose his life. He's bought enough time. He's done enough damage that they have to face right into that double peak, and Robbie will be able to keep them out ahead.
Pure almost wins that double peak on Catwalk, takes down Mac, but Robbie is there for the trade extremely quickly. And Thief just playing the mind games there. Catches out Thunder Logic with their pants down. Gets an easy kill. Falls away, buys some time. And Divine now have a lead. Mac has bought an MP9, which is quite questionable given the fact that he had the money for a rifle and the fact that Thunder Logic should be known to be on a full buy. Either way, though, Thunder Logic do not have an op. They lack a serious amount of utility. 2 players without anything on their belts. Anderson with a smoke only. And the chance for Divine now to get a 5th on the board and start to establish a dominant CT half. Riku walks out into Sniper's Nest and gets shot right back down. The Krieg of Shaniac, not quite an op, but still dealing damage.
A little bit of control being exerted here as well. They're pincering in. Pure has now got space out of the underpass. This is setting up for a really nice A take. Pretty much the traditional, if you will, although a little bit more presence in towards mid than you necessarily want. The problem for Thunder Logic is that the turtle has come through from Team Divine. They've withdrawn in, and Thief has a chance to really shut this down before it begins. Does he have a flashbang from a teammate to facilitate this peek? No. So he's going to fade back instead, hold a bit more of a passive angle, and the flash will actually come into his face, but it goes past him. And so an easy frag found. He's lost his teammates, but Thief did find the kill. Unfortunately for him, no one else on his team managed to have impact, and they're all getting mowed down with swift headshots. And so this one is over. It's just going to be Mac on the periphery, Mac on the flank with a MP9, as he can't buy the Mac 10 on this half. Trying to get something, trying to get a little bit of an exit, I think, or maybe salvage away a rifle, but there's going to be none to be found. Thunder Logic have the site, Thunder Logic have the round. They have 4 alive, and they shouldn't have much more risk at all.
Mac actually might be trying to go for a ninja here. At the very least, he's playing for exits, just hanging around a ramp, not really moving around, doing much here. Could catch off Pure if all goes well for Mr. Mac, but I don't think that he will be granted a kill here. Should be a 4-4 scoreline. Pure, though, might work on the ramp. Pre-fires the angle and does win that duel against the MP9, so it will not be a saved AK for the CT side. And their money rather decimated. 3 players in that double eco territory. The Divine will have to go for a force here, presumably rifles on both Robbie and Mac, unless Mac chooses to drop one to somebody else. And that's exactly the case. Robbie and Stellar holding onto the M4. Robbie and Mac again on the M4. So Mac will hold on to his rifle. And the B play coming in from Thunder Logic, at least early. And that's where both of the rifles are for Divine. They're gamble stacking it, and it might just pay off.
It might indeed. It'll remain to be seen. We're about to find out. They've got a little bit of presence. They've got some damage potential here, and we know how deadly these players can be. Robbie going to have a chance to have first impact. Quick dispatch of his opponent, and that might just persuade them to head back the other direction. Indeed, it does. Thunder Logic want no part of this. They're going to bail back out. The one piece of map knowledge they've got to operate around is that player top mid, and they've still got a minute 15 as well, so plenty of time to mess around with this. Plenty of time to get something going. In the meantime, Mac has just revealed his presence towards Cap, but he's not caught out, so there's no punishment for it. They've worked the player into connector, but it seems like they're coming back to this hit towards B, and so Robbie is once again going to have a chance to have some pretty huge fragging potential here. Pure, distracting focus, look at the rotation he drew. Oh, they didn't fight on it. They nearly did. The second kill might just persuade them. Robbie's leaving. He's out of position at just the wrong time. This hit's going to come in. Pure's worked his way into market. If he finds this kill, if he wins this duel, this could be so very dangerous indeed.
If Pure wins the market fight, it should be all over unless Mac can come up with a massive deagle play. The timings in market, though, so just classic counter hit, really. And Robbie does go down, doesn't deal damage to Pure. Mac falls without a kill as well. Stellar last alive on a deagle, should not have a chance in this round. It's the 4-man hold for Thunder Logic. The bomb down for Apps, Stellar far removed. And Thunder Logic looking to take a 5th round and their lead right back from under Divine's nose, who will be back on the pistols. No real investment coming from them in the following round. So a 6-4 scoreline looking likely for Thunder Logic. And there have been rumors that Mirage is turning more T-sided as of late. Definitely seems to be the case here, but Divine need a little more than 4 rounds if they are going to make a fight for it on their own offense. The old saying is defense wins championships, Mike. And right now, Divine's defense looking a little holy.
That's a slightly different sport, but I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I will definitely allow it. One thing I will say, though, is, I mean, obviously it's a bit more T-sided with the addition of the bench. Teams haven't necessarily been taking full advantage of that bench. I don't think we've seen it impact majorly into a round. They're still going for that traditional head stack boost in towards window to avoid giving the audio cue for the most part. The thing the bench really facilitates is the peek towards catwalk from mid. It's really changed up that fight a bit. Now the lower platform out towards B, we haven't really seen impact either. So theoretically a bit more T-sided. For practical purpose, I don't think it's quite mattered that much, I would say. I'd say the Krieg is still the deciding factor in making it a bit more of a T-sided affair. This time, definitely going to be favoring the T's, as it's just a wrecking ball of Sharky out on towards site. He is going to massacre his opponent and dancing around the bench. Robbie might just get one, but indeed he is going to be mowed down. Sharky comes away with that, not able to get his nifty UST work enough damage to find the kill, and Sharky will make money with his Mac. Bomb going to be planted. This round is already over. It's just a question of whether Team Divine can pluck a little bit of damage from the flank, from the periphery. If Shawniak gets caught out here, could actually be dangerous, but they're not peeking together, and honestly, if they were, he probably would have just gotten the collat there. The op, a brutal weapon, deadly for sure, and in Shawniak, maybe a bit overbold, will lose his life, but it's no harm, no foul, to be quite frank. The op is retrieved, his body is dropped, and Thunder Logic have more than enough money to paper over any deficiencies.
Indeed they do, and I think Sharky's just going to stay on the Mac 10. Expect him to entry in somewhere, but the replacement for Jazz Pimp doing a lot of work for Thunder Logic of late. Again, though, Mac, or Divine rather, with no kits, no ops, no helmets, plenty of utility. Some of it has been expended already, but still, they lack the kits, they lack the ops. And I wonder if that will come back to bite them once again, especially since they're playing Retake A. Stellar removed towards Ticket Booth. He's already off down to 13 HP. Robbie pushing in, walks right into Anderson's crosshair. The Molotov burns Stellar alive, as in Shawniak, with some great utility usage, allows a kill to go through his way. Smoke to wall off the retake from CT. Just Mac alone towards Khan. And Thunder Logic en route to a 7th round as Divine are running away. They've thrown their weapons down, not quite literally, but metaphorically speaking, and they are running as fast as they can out of the range of Thunder Logic.
This is looking quite nice for Thunder Logic. They've been a solid Mirage team so far, but it's just, you always expect these move-up teams to have a bit of a disadvantage, right? Especially considering Team Divine, regardless of their odd situation last season, were a playoff team. They were a playoff team. They were the 8th seed. They managed to just slip in, make it work, and while they may not have had much playoff success, They didn't get there in the first place, so we expect big things from them as individuals. They're not necessarily a team that relies on a huge amount of team play, on a huge amount of strats and setups, at least based on what we saw from them last season, but they do have that individual caliber to just kind of go off at times. So far, we haven't really seen it. We haven't seen major impact out from it, and Thunder Logic have been able to match them on the firepower front in a big way, and that's certainly been working for them.
I'd say they've been able to more than match, with everybody on Thunder Logic putting in considerable work here. Winning the aim duels left, right, and center. Literally everywhere around the map. Riku making a big sound cue towards ramp will force Divine to fall off the ramp position a little bit. They still want to hang around for a little bit of aggression, but they won't go for that full peak just yet. And instead, Stellar will stick around. Can he win the duel, though? That is the question. Anderson just on the edge of a smoke. And whoever wins this duel could very well determine the course of this entire round, as Thunder Logic really spread out looking for picks, getting all the map control they can. And I think they are going to hedge their bets back towards A, as Pure is starting to work down through Underpass. Nades through to B, but it seems to be a 3 mid to A split. One through Palace, one through Ramp. And Stellar has removed his presence from the ramp, so a much easier take for Thunder Logic. Still a 3 stack from Divine. Nobody watching mid, though. And I think Pure is about going to get his way into Sniper, should he choose to do so. And there would be nobody here to hear the sound cue.
Title change, everybody. Be happy. It's a one-man production casting operation with Boggs coming in on that vital casting as well. Today, we're a little short-handed. Our producer is out in the doing wonderful things with DreamHack. So, apologies for any minor issues. They're all my fault. Blame me. Lambast me on Twitter. You can find my Twitter if you type !casters in chat. You didn't expect me to turn that one into plug, did you? But Divine's going to turn that one into a frag. Thief finding it. Here's the trades as well. Thief comes up with more. He's losing bodies. He's losing teammates, but he might just have done enough himself. He's found so much damage, and now slipping out onto the site. They're not expecting it. Mac might just be able to shut this all down, and indeed he will. Find the last frag, find the round, get them a little something here to at least get them through to 5, and a chance to find a bit more. Still, the money's not going to be great. They only survive with 2 players. They don't have a ton saved through, and there's a ton coming at them from the other side. The arsenal for Thunder Logic is built. It's robust, and it's going to be coming through with a big hit.
Mac with the jumping finish onto the planner.
You think that jump was intentional?
I really do love to see it.
Little panic setting in? You think it was an intentional jump?
Spacebar jump king.
Classic.
Mac actually on the op for Divine, and he does not have a kit, so Divine seeming to really neglect those diffusers. There is an old adage in the North American region about buying diffuse kits and what you are if you don't buy one. But let's see if it actually does come into factor here. The lack of kits have not necessarily hurt Divine yet.
Two is fine. You can space them out towards sites, which they have done right now. Right, Robbie's on towards Catwalk. There's one back towards Ticket. This isn't a major issue. I'm okay with 2 kits on a team. Mac is clearly, to some degree, trying to be a bank for his team and has been in a couple rounds. He's got the op this time. Previously, he was playing with an SMG, but I can respect a 2-kit buy. I do like diffusers. I like everybody to have them in an ideal circumstance, but when your money's a little touch and go, you've got nothing in reserve, I don't blame you taking the hit for a bit more utility and potential future rounds.
I like 3 kits as a minimum, just because you can lose them in awkward situations. Thief going 1 for 1 will fall to Sharky, but Shaniak is down. Robbie with the Krieg posted up from bench, not able to land the shots just yet. Unscoped follows the recoil up onto Anderson's head. Sharky in the meantime watching for Mac, who will not win his duel. Robbie though still alive from bench as Riku fell, and coming in on the rotation is Stellar to take out Sharky, but Rabbit is also coming from where Stellar came, but Robbie seems to have spotted him out. The shots are going both ways, but Robbie walks out, wins that duel, and Divine grab a 6th round. Thunder Logic not able to win the half just yet. Their buy will still be upcoming as their bank was quite massive. And Divine are still in this, however, still weak on money. 4 kits now. I am happy, and Riku has the op, so I'm sure he's happy.
They scratched your itch. We've got it going. I mean, honestly, this is a Divine side that I expect to be heavily T-sided, just purely based on the way they play, where they're going to be able to roll as a wrecking ball unit on the T side and operate much more on their ability to open up aim duels and take those fights. So 6 rounds is already solid, considering the circumstance they were in. It's a nice run back for Divine. Obviously, if they get one more here, they're going to feel a lot better. 2, hey, fantastic, throw a party. But we'll see what Thunder Logic give them. They still got all the utility in the world. They've got the weapons. They've broken out 1 Krieg on Pure. A little surprised to see a little bit less of that rifle. But Riku, the Opera, tried to get a bit frisky, and he took a big risky, and he will, in fact, plummet to his death as he is laid low into the palace. This may not matter, though. They're getting shut down towards ramp. The Massacre's coming in. They've come out into the blender, and everybody's getting dropped. It's all left to Inshaniak. He's got the op in hand for sure, but he's got 3 targets to find, and he's going to need to hit his shots perfectly. Mac, just gave him the opportunity. No reason to do that. Now it's a 1v2, as this situation is suddenly recoverable for Inshaniak. He's still got 50 seconds to operate off of, and he could go anywhere on the map. He's got control of spawn. He doesn't know if a flank's on, so he's going to try and figure that out. But he's got a chance to get back around. He's got a chance to turn this into something a little magical.
Does have a chance, but Robbie seems to be wise to his ploys as he's already up the underpass stairs waiting for Inshaniak to walk in. However, Inshaniak has deviated from his present course and made his way up through Cat. Robbie should be able to hear this, though, and he will walk his way through apartments, through the kitchen. No time to make himself a snack, however, as Inshaniak has to rush the plant. Only 15 seconds on the clock. He'll go for a cat plant. Robbie with a molly out. The bomb will get planted, so a bit of a victory for Thunder Logic, ensuring a buy in the following round. Thief, though, will get pushed. Still in that duel, Inshaniak looking for a later rotation, but it's unaware of Robbie having all the sound cues in the world. And Thief will not quite steal away the round. I think that title goes to Stellar, as he had a very star-studded performance there on the ramp. Getting, I believe, 3 kills, almost a 4th. And Divine draw level at 7 apiece going to the last round of the first half. Buy up for both teams. The Krieg remains in Robbie's hands. Riku returns to the big green gun. Jack, why are you not buying a kit? You have 1,200 his last round.
You should DM him. You should DM him about it. That's definitely the critical piece. It's going to be aggression in towards mid. They're going for it. Robbie taking the forward fight, but it's actually going to be his teammates who come in to support him as well. It's a massacre. Everybody dropped the bomb to boot. Purer, add insult to injury. Was that a jump up shot just on the lip for a second? Was Riku to find the frag. Now everything's going to be left to poor Rabbit, who finds himself without friends, alone, surrounded, and quickly into the stew pot. It will be an 8-7 half as Team Divine complete a beautiful recovery, get themselves back through, get themselves the advantage in the half as we head to the switch. And just based on the way that went, based on how many rounds they managed to string together at the end there, I'm feeling fantastic about Divine's chances as we head over to the switch. I was already anticipating them being a bit more impactful on T side. But the fact they managed to slide that into 8 rounds, honestly incredible, and represents a pretty big fumble from Thunder Logic's side.
Yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a fumble close to the goal line as well, to continue the football metaphor. Because Divine can get another pistol very easily. They do seem to be a more T-sided team. Very aggressive, a lot of aim duels won. Some decent coordinated flashes from them, but more or less that kind of team that will just push out and bully you. So I'm expecting Divine to come out swinging on the pistol round, have a bit of utility thrown by Mac, maybe a couple flashes over A with a smoke to jungle or CT to wall off one of the T choke points, and just really try to explode and exploit Thunder Logic, try and catch them with a fast take, a coordinated rush, just throw numbers at it and hope it sticks. And really off the back of that pistol round, Divine can just expand on their lead and move forward really well. Even a bomb plant can deal with rounds for Divine. So we all know how powerful those Krieg buys after the bomb plant on T-side pistol is. And Divine, no stranger to those aggressive force buys. Definitely going to be rough water for Thunder Logic. They'll need some lightning to bring them back to life. But one thing I'd like to see from Thunder Logic, though, is a little bit of the timeouts, you know? Divine gets a little momentum, call a timeout, slow things down, and make Divine sweat a little bit.
Perhaps. We'll see. Divine, a team that tend to be pretty cool under pressure. I think the same token that sometimes frustrates me about them, which is just that they perhaps don't take the game as seriously as some of their opponents in a lot of contexts, in a lot of situations, also lends them to a certain degree of coolness as well. Because if they're having a good time, if they're enjoying themselves, if they're living it up in their comms, they're pretty hard to rattle. Even if things start off rough, all it takes is one round for them to be like, oh, wait, that's right. You just click on heads, guys. You just click on heads, and this all works out. And so they're going to do that. They're going to try and rock out on towards this A or B bomb site, rather. Sharky's going to have his hands full. He's got support from Catwalk for sure, but they've actually fallen off of that immediately. Sharky hasn't been checked yet, but he'll be checked quickly by a Glock bullet to the dome. There's going to be no more checking to do for Sharky. This is not working out very well at all. A little bit of a trade there for Inshaniak, but numbers still in the advantage. Meanwhile, the bomb's been planted towards A, as this was purely a distraction that wound up in a full site take. And that leaves everything onto Rabbit. He's got to clutch this in a 1v3 and finds a Glock bullet quickly, replacing where his brains once were. Quick kills, 2 of which for Riku. Gonna see them through into the next round, and Thief is having himself a heck of a game, I've just noticed. 17-9 is his scoreline. Thief are really showing up strong for this team.
Yeah, I'd normally expect Robbie and Stellar to be those top fraggers for Divine, but Thief decided maybe it's his time to steal the spotlight away and show what he's made of. Definitely doing a lot of work. And Shaniak, I don't know if you can see over that smoke in middle. As a scout, as it is going to be a counterforce from Thunder Logic for Deagles and the scout. Mac 10 in the hands of Mac, who got the fragging started for Divine in this T-half. A good headshot start things off for him. If Mac starts to come alive too, then I think it's a very dangerous Divine. Because already we've seen Robbie and Thief have some great rounds. Stellar has pulled off some amazing kills. Riku has shown up towards the later portions of that half. If you get Mac activated too, Thunder Logic, I don't think they have anyone to hide from. Or anywhere to hide.
I'm still thinking back to that clip on LAN of Mac just chugging the game fuel and shouting, "Yes, sir!" That's, I think, how you get him activated, so I'm just assuming at this point he's drinking his Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, as you all should as well. You can, if you type exclamation mark, I think it's exclamation mark Game Fuel in chat, find a link to purchase your own, so consider it. To help make this whole league possible. Riku's making this take possible. He's already found a pick, and now Thief has followed it up very nicely indeed. And with a scout and 2 Deagles to try and get back through, this is already looking like a tough task. There are admittedly 2 players quite low. Robbie and Thief, the tags have come in to potentially find them something to work with. But it's going to be left to Sharky and Inshaniak at this point, and Sharky's trying to lead the charge. Just wants to connect with 1 Deag bullet. He will, in fact, find the frag, but the trade is swift, and it is brutal. And at this point, Inshaniak is a madman for sticking around. He will find a kill as a parting gift. But honestly, even that was quite bold. So he will withdraw, give them at least a scout to play with into the next round. It will be 10 rounds for Team Divine as they hit double digits. And then Shaniak with this 1 scout will have the unenviable prospect of trying to have any sort of impact in the next round with it, provided he doesn't get his brains dashed by Stellar. Right? Oh. Stellar's not going to force the issue. So he will survive. He will live. He will stay up, at least for a moment. And now a 3-round lead for Team Divine as we head on forward.
A 3-round lead, looking like a 4th-round lead, because Thunder Logic will not have much of a buy here. 2 P250s, the saved Scout and Kevlar, not looking likely for the CT's side. The Galil on Stellar, double Mac 10s for Robbie and Mac. The gun that is kind of his namesake, really. Like to see him do some work with it. He is tagged down as Thief. I believe took a scout shot as well. At least a nade, something to deal a boatload of damage to him. He's down to 28 HP. But still, Divine starting to clear all their angles, not falling into that trap that some teams have of ignoring the corners when they're up against light pistols. They are playing this to a T. Riku with a nice peek onto Inshaniak. Sharky dancing around the bench, getting them mopped up from all angles. And meanwhile, out on A, Mac will eliminate Anderson, leaving just Rabbit again. Poor little Rabbit, last alive with a nigh impossible situation. And Thief, again, putting Rabbit into a stew. Hopefully with some potatoes, maybe some celery, carrots, good amount of aromatics.
What's potatoes? Watch. Potatoes, precious. You know, I did ask Mac about the name at one point. Apparently it was used to be mac and cheese, I think, as I recall. And then he just dropped the cheese and stuck with the mac and it worked out. Or no, it used to be macaroni, as I recall. Some variant of that. I think macaroni. And then he just abbreviated it. It sounds a little more intimidating as Mac than macaroni. So that's good to see. Shaniak gonna get himself an opening pig. Might just be the lifeblood they needed. The bench hops coming in fierce here. And Mac will be able to follow up his bench hop with a big bench frag. Gets an op as a little bit of an upgrade over that small SMG. A little bit more fragging power available to him right now. They're operating as a 3, some bombs back towards spawn, so even if they do take ground, as you do see a couple forward positions here from Divine, they're going to have a tough task actually fighting back to the bomb. Thief just holding Sandwich and trying to wait this out, but Pure wisely plays it patient, gets himself 2 as a result. Now everything's going to be on to Stellar. It's a 1v4 opportunity, and he's going to not get shut down, somehow responds to that, despite the fact that he was looking in the wrong direction and looked like he was going to get blindside shot in the side of his head. See what they can do. Stellar, little bit of a chance here, a little bit of something to do. Unfortunately for him, 50 seconds, and he'd have to get all the way back into T-spawn to even retrieve this bomb. He's trying to bleed a little bit of time here, just baiting somebody into a peek on Catwalk, hoping he gets another kill. But at this point, his hand's kind of forced. He's got to get back to that bomb to have any chance of winning this, and with 35 seconds, that's becoming increasingly unlikely.
I think at this point, Stellar just trying to get some kills and trim the economy of Thunder Logic moving into the following round, as his team will have more than enough to buy. He just needs to deal some damage, and if he stays alive, well, won't really hurt him that much, but any kill he can get will go a long way to ensuring that Thunder Logic do not have the best buy moving forward. Almost takes down Rabbit, who is lucky to live this time, as he will hop forward and try to retrieve the Krieg, but unfortunately for him, the scoped rifle is out of reach.
You know, this is pretty reminiscent of the last time we saw Thunder Logic play Mirage. They had a solid T-side. I think they wound up with 8 rounds. This was against Big Frames, and this is where we started to see Big Frames as an impressive Mirage team. But perhaps some credit needs to be given to a bit of a CT side lacking if you're Thunder Logic. They then only got a few more rounds and wound up getting resoundingly beat on that map. I think the scoreline was more respectable, something along the lines of 16-10, 16-11, something along those lines. Maybe even been a bit closer than that. My memory is shoddy at best, folks. Shoddy at best. But they did eventually lose that. And so we are in this situation. So Thunder Logic trying it once more. Divine is coming knocking at the door. They've got a player into Sandwich already in Robbie. They've got some damage coming in from Stellar in the Palace. There's a potential for Rabbit, who's working with this gap in the smoke, trying to line up a frag, but he's actually been tagged. Somehow comes out worse for the wear on that damage exchange. Anderson will get a pick to at least secure mid and a follow-up on the bomb planter coming off of it. Claims Thief. So now a man advantage for sure, but they're losing Ticket. They've already lost Presence. They're losing quite a bit indeed. There's still a player tucked up in a Palace. So great positioning for these remaining players, and the frags are flowing. All going to be left to Sharky, who's looking like he's about to get finned. And indeed he will. No chance to swim away. A 12th round for Divine. A secure lead for them now, and a chance to run this down. There is a bit of money from Thunder Logic, but not enough for a full buy. And at this point, a force would be a very risky prospect indeed.
I think they will go for a half buy here, not wanting to go for the Walmart purchase, see whatever they can grab off the bargain bin, and come into a round with a mixed bag of treats and maybe some tricks too. But so they will go the wise course and grab a couple deagles. The scout on Sharky to deal some damage. Tagman bag him, hopefully. Thief already getting tagged down a little bit low. One shot with the scout will do him in. But as it stands, Team Divine with a great chance to put a stranglehold on Thunder Logic. Stellar bails out Riku, looking for more. Pure will trade, but Stellar is there for more. And Robbie will spray into the smoke and eliminate Sharky's chances of dealing damage with the scout, leaving the last 2 players from Thunder Logic over on the A site. Rabbit has been spotted. Stellar baiting out the shots, clears jungle, goes back for more. And he munches down on Rabbit, leaving Justin Shaniak last alive. And Mac will put the finishing touches on the round for Divine. Only 1 member lost. That would be Riku. And he is no worse for economy. He can go straight for the AWP, which is his weapon of choice, as Shaniak goes straight for his. Another buy coming in from Thunder Logic, but once again, the margin for error thins vastly and drastically for the CT side. Double op set up their last-ditch effort to try and stem the tide back to them.
Ooh. Chance for that initial engagement. Shaniak was looking for it, but they're going to fade off it. They don't want anything to do with this. Instead, it's going to be Sharky with the op up close. This double op investment is pretty interesting here. It's a bit of a game changer. We'll see if Sharky can make this work. He's playing a pretty tight angle on it. And Molly's going to go in, but he will find the first and fall. Nicely done. Utility to cover him off as well, but he's left out in the open. Couldn't quite negotiate his way to safe passage, and wow, his teammates have been erased on towards the site. So bomb plant going to come in, and based on the economy, based on the situation, they're going to have to get the heck out of Dodge. It's going to be a full save for the remaining two players, and Shaniak and Rabbit just trying to get out of here, trying to keep themselves alive, trying to keep their guns available into the next round. Honestly, it looked like a decent setup for Thunder Logic, but it was just annihilated. And this is the power of Team Divine, just that wrecking ball potential when they hit a site to just bully with their aim, to bully with their takes, and to just go out full force. Shaniak will get one last pity frag, a little bit to pad the bonus, but with an op, that's just an extra $100. It's really not going to make much of a difference, and Team Divine are going to be more than happy to rebuy that up. They may not chance us off again. They'll let these two guns survive through, so that's a nice pick from Shaniak to convince them that the hunt was maybe not worth it. But you could see the money's filthy for Team Divine. They've got plenty of it. They could Scrooge McDuck their way into a vault of it and swim around. And now they've got many attempts to get map point against what is going to be a lackluster defense.
It could be worse here, Mike. They have 3 Rem 4s and a FAMAS. The FAMAS, with its recent buff, is actually not terrible. And then Shaniak, with a great pick onto Riku, gives Thunder Logic some hope here. They have kits, they have utility, they have now a man advantage. And it's Shaniak, the timing down towards ramp, almost catching off Thief. That would have been a massive pick. Instead, though, Thief will group up with the rest of his team. Oh, yeah, Pure. He's going to catch these players making their exodus out of apartments. Goes for one. Will get traded, but still the advantage sits with Thunder Logic. That's a massive amount of information, too, as they saw the bomb on minimap. Although it is a 2v2 split setup, and Shaniak is keeping an eye on mid, will now make his way into Sniper's Nest, as Divine will group back up to what seems to be another B hit here.
I was going to say, certainly Stellar doesn't take that fight. He was looking like he wanted to. But the angel on his shoulder said, you probably don't win this. Go ahead and reformat. We've still got a chance to shut this down. Anderson's just going to have the FAMAS to do so, and if he falls, there's going to be no remaining defense on towards B. So this is a tough situation. A lot rides on Anderson. If he finds the timing here, there's a frag. There's a second as well. Anderson's up to the task. He does enough. All going to be on to Stellar now. 40 seconds to operate off of. Players all around him. Bullets coming through the lid of the window, and he will eventually get caught through the wall. That's going to be a round for the London Logic. Excuse me there. They're going to answer back, and it's really off of the play of Anderson. He's a man who struggled all game long for his team, but he comes alive when they need him. He holds onto his site when there was no defense behind him, and that B anchor is not going to budge.
Yeah, I guess that kind of seems to be the case of this game so far. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force. So far, Thunder Logic have failed to be that immovable object. But Anderson takes matters into his own hands, shuts down the Apps play. The double with the FAMAS of all guns. One of the most hated rifles and even guns in general in this game of Counter-Strike. So a great job by him. The third kill, just icing on the cake. Drops the Krieg over to Pure, though. And Divine have telegraphed this hit so much, it's a 4 rotation into A with another flank coming in from Anderson. And Molotov damage forcing Divine away. Pure boosted up, drops Riku, looking for the second. It's going to be Stellar up close to personal to Ticket Booth. But little does he know there are 3 CTs just outside of the smoke. The flank comes in. Anderson yet to pounce. Even though he will be able to get a pounce as Robbie and Mac traded back. But Rabbit will hop on top of Ticket Booth, shut it all down. Anderson was able to get... Actually, Anderson was completely obliterated on his flank. So somehow Divine still had the presence of mind to counter that.
He was indeed. I mean, did he not get the first? He got the first towards Sandwich, didn't he? Or
no,
not
he
towards
didn't
Sandwich, but rather the player on site. That wasn't him?
He didn't finish that round.
Oh. Well, he tried to go for the trigger discipline play. Maybe it doesn't work out, but I think he contributed damage at the very least. He also distracted them, made them focus on their flank, at least for a moment, which definitely did help the team. His positioning, his flank was still impactful, even if he's not ultimately the one who gets the kills. At this point, it doesn't really matter who gets the kills, provided at the end of the day you come out with a round win. Their backs are to the wall, there's no chance to squabble over stats. You just gotta come out with that dub. That's what they're trying to do here. Sharky, jump peeking it. It's gonna be Deagles for this Team Divine side, but we know they can be lethal with the hand cannons. Thief with a Glock, honestly, still a threat. We saw a crazy Glock clip earlier tonight to open it up. Certainly we're not going to get another one to close it down. He's just going to be wait. kind of like this spot. Oh, and he's coming out. He's going to force the issue. He's going to lose his life. 2 players here. Nearly caught them with utility in hand, but he didn't expect the second. He was trying to make an individual play, and that individual play was punished. Rotation through from his team. They want to get back through, but Stellar might just get his head lopped off in a moment, and indeed he does. So it's going to be the hit from Arches, or it's going to be nothing. They're coming out. They've been spotted. Rabbit now knows they're here. They're grouping up forward. The bit of utility they have is going to sail through, and this is going to be all on towards Robbie, who will get caught by the op in transition and will lose his life. So Thunder Logic here at the tail end, making a little bit of noise. They've closed this to a 3-round gap. This is suddenly well within the realm of possibility. They've got utility. They've got resources built up. They've got 3 Kriegs to work with and a lot of money in their back pocket in case 1 round slips away from them. And now they've got the chance to make a bit of a run here, Boggs. Do you believe?
I'm starting to believe. Another thing that goes to factor Thunder Logic is the fact that they have more Kriegs on the T side. The op of Shaniak just about missing people, and he gets taken down by Robbie, doing molly damage, doing shot damage, everything necessary. But Anderson pops out through underpass on a paltry 1 point of health, gets 2 kills, brings it back to a 3v3. This does favor the T side, but if he can catch them rotating out, I thought they were going to push to Avs for a second there. There was a massive chance for Anderson. In the meantime, those Sharky pushing up Catwalk. They know Apps is clear. They know it's going to be an A hit. It all comes down to whether or not Rabbit can survive. If he can get a kill and buy some time, this can go the way of Thunder Logic as Divine will bail their way out onto A. Robbie takes down Rabbit, but also takes Riku down to 7 HP. It's a 2v3 retake for Thunder Logic. They have kits, they have Molly, nades, flashbangs, and a smoke. Plenty of everything they want, and they have information that Riku has just jumped into CT. Molly into Firebox will force Robbie, as he's also been naded. He's down to 35 HP. There's a massive chance for Thunder Logic.
Certainly is, but look at that flashbang. They didn't check. He didn't check towards his right, and so Robbie's going to clear. He's going to get the second as well. 4 kills on the round for Robbie, who secures the match point with a big 4K. That's what you love to see. That's that individual form shining through. He was a little quieter earlier. It was Thief who was really shining instead. This time, Robbie has caught back up and surpassed him. He's got 24 kills. He paces the server right now, having a very solid game indeed. Double Op's going to come back out for Thunder Logic. It yielded them some good results earlier. We'll see if it can bail them out here, because it's do or die time. They've got 4 rounds they need to win to take this to overtime. 4 rounds to make it happen. And meanwhile, Team Divine trying to keep the pressure up, trying to just close this out here and now, and give not a chance for Thunder Logic to get back in.
4 rounds is a lot closer than 9 or 7, which is what we saw earlier. So definitely much more of a chance for Thunder Logic. They've shown that they have the capability of bringing this game back. The question is, will Divine be able to shut them down? Right now, Divine setting up for an A hit, flashes over the ramp. It all comes down to whether Pure and Shaniak can lock things down. Rabbit's been smoked out. Molotov will go down, and Pure up close and personal shotgun op takes down Thief. Riku, however, goes for 2, and he takes out Rabbit. The bomb will get planted. It's a man advantage for Divine, and this is where things get messy for Thunder Logic. And Shaniak needs to open things up here with the op, but with Anderson falling out towards middle, and now Shaniak going down. I don't think there's much Sharky can do, and indeed, Robbie will put the final nail in the coffin of this map as Divine will take it over Thunder Logic. The comeback, unfortunately, not to be for Thunder Logic, but still a promising game against a team that is extremely strong and one of the favorites maybe to even make it to the Global Challenge.
Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. It's going to be a really interesting season. This is going to be a season where I don't think we're going to have much of an idea of who the favorites are. I mean, there's some obvious choices. Chaos have looked really strong starting out. We've seen a few other teams who've shown strong form. Mythic are looking newly rejuvenated. But honestly, I think it's really going to be anyone's league until we start to get into the back half and get a little bit more of a picture of what kind of strength various teams are bringing through. But definitely keep an eye on Team Divine. They've just got that star power to do a ton of damage. Thunder Logic, tough showing there. Good rally at the end, but there's still something to build on for the next match. And this first season in the MDL, as it is for so many teams, is definitely going to be a learning experience. That's going to be all from us tonight, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed tonight's show, consider following this channel. Consider following ESEA on Twitter so you can keep up with the Mountain Dew League and be tuned to all the games coming through and into our next broadcast. We will have a broadcast tomorrow night. Boggs will be on that one, as well as, I believe, JRT. So definitely tune in tomorrow night at 8 as well, I believe. that
I
correct?
believe you are correct.
All
8
right.
Eastern, 5 Pacific.
So tune in at 8 Eastern. That's been all from us. If you enjoyed this cast, do consider following us on Twitter as well. You can find our @s below our face. Boggs in particular, a rising face in the scene, a rising star, so definitely do give him some attention. And we are so grateful for you joining in. Go crack yourself a can of Game Fuel. We'll see you next time.
This is game fuel. It's domination in a can. Oh, tastes like loser tears.
New Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.